Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ReelTok, episode 101. We had our 100 episode special last week, so shameless plug. Go check that out. 3.5 hours, just chatting, just yapping, having a good time with the boys. But we are back for episode 101. I am joined alongside my three beautiful, intelligent, sexy co-hosts, Mr. Cam, Mr. Seth, and Mr. Tyler. We've been teasing it for a bit of time. We're going to do our House of the Dragon spoiler-free review. We didn't really do it episodically. Just, our episodes drop on Mondays. House of the Dragon episodes are Sundays. We usually record Saturdays or Sunday mornings. So we decided to save it to the end and do one big episode. We also have a couple of movie reviews we're going to go through. I'm going to talk on Cuckoo, starring Hunter Schafer. Tyler's going to talk on Borderlands, starring a whole slew of actors and actresses. And then Cam is going to talk, and Tyler, on the Instigators. D23 took place 2 days ago. So if you're at all active,
it did get place. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
2 years ago, to be fair.
Technically, I'm not wrong.
We're going to talk that.
2 years.
They've announced the King Dynasty. Jonathan Majors. Cast.
It's funny enough, actually. D23 2 years ago was what we talked about on episode 1 of the ReelTok Podcast.
That's awesome.
That was the first thing we ever talked about.
Yeah.
Boy.
But
was it later then?
Yeah, that was in like September or October. When was our first episode?
September 15th or some shit, I remember.
Yeah. So anyways, if you're active on Insta or Twitter, I'm sure you saw all the news, but we're going to go through it. We're going to give our thoughts, our opinions on a lot of upcoming things to be excited about, some maybe not to be excited about, but we'll go through all of that. I'm sure Seth is very happy for Zootopia 2. And then we'll talk quick trailers, quick additional movie use, but the bulk of our episode will be the House of the Dragon. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. Start with Tyler. How you doing?
Doing pretty well. Pretty standard week. Well, I guess so. On the 6th, so on Tuesday, it was my 1-year engagement anniversary. So that was fun. Has
it been a year already? Crazy.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember because my birthday was the next day. So I'm like confusing what we did for my birthday and what we did for my engagement anniversary. But engagement anniversary, we did like a homemade hot pot because we have this like hot pot Korean barbecue combo little widget thing. So we just like grilled up a bunch of like steak and chicken and made some like ramen. So that was really fun, and then just hung out. And then Wednesday for my birthday, we grilled out outside. So that was fun too, but pretty chill, pretty low key. Didn't do anything too crazy for those. But on my birthday was when you guys filmed the Real Quick for Thursday, and like we were hanging out and doing stuff. So I like quickly ran in here to edit it, and I was like so confused because I was like, this is like 35 minutes long. Yeah. And then like I looked at the draft, and then when I was like editing, because I was like going as fast as I could just because I was like busy doing stuff. And I was like, this draft ends at like 9 minutes. So I was like, did they just like keep yapping? Like, is this podcast yapping after this? Or is this like they just stopped the draft and they just started chatting with each other? Like, I'm like, oh, how long is this? And I think by the time I was editing it, you were both asleep. So I'm like, I think they wanted this all in. So I'm just going to keep this like a 35-minute episode. Yeah. But yeah, it went well. That was a great yap session. I was very impressed that it ended up being that long. But yeah, just a super busy weekend trying to get prepped for, anytime traveling is coming up. I have to prep a bunch of stuff and get TikToks ready and social media stuff ready, and I have to train you guys on how to do the podcast as well for next weekend. So, because I'm going to be on a cruise next weekend for my friend's bachelor party. Never been on a cruise before. Should be fun, interesting. Looking forward to it. Yeah,
they're all right.
Actually, like, are you pro cruise or anti cruise? I don't know what I'll
middle ground cruise.
I think that's probably what I'll be.
Packed.
I doubt I'm going to be a huge fan of them, but I'm hoping.
I'm anti, and I haven't been on one before. It just doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah.
I went on a cruise in high school, and it was awesome because I was the annoying kid running around, like doing everything, all of that. And then I just went on a cruise 6 months ago now, maybe. I can't even remember. With Emma and Bailey, and definitely a lot harder to navigate with like a family and trying to keep your kid like away from the kids that are running around and just yapping. So it's a lot, but I think a bachelor party would be fun. Are you going to any like cool islands?
Yeah, it's just a 3-day cruise. I think it's just going to the Bahamas, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's a Royal Caribbean cruise. I think like the first day it goes like Cocoa Bay, which I think is like Royal Caribbean's island that they like have just for their own adventures and stuff. And then the second day is Bahamas. But Yeah.
Do you have the drink pass?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Which because
might as well.
Royal Caribbean, like, because I'm not even a big drinker alcohol wise, but like Royal Caribbean nickel and dimes you so much that like a bottle of water is like $3.50 a day. So like
Yep.
even if you don't drink alcohol, like the unlimited drink pass is like a smart move because like just any drinks whatsoever is like a couple dollars and it's like $50 a day. So I'm like, whatever, might as well. Just the less cash I have to carry, the better. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how it goes. It's hurricane season right now, and there's like a hurricane coming. So like the cruises like never get canceled for hurricanes just because their hurricanes don't take up the whole ocean. What they end up doing is they just divert the cruise. But what's lame is like basically what usually happens is if the hurricane like Ernesto or whatever ends up being like a thing, then like pools are all closed. They don't dock at the islands. So like the cruise, they still make their money because they're still going to run the cruise, but it's like 100 times lamer than it would have been. Like everything's closed and shut down. So like that would be kind of shitty, but it is what it is. It's the gamble you take with the cruise. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I leave on Thursday for that. But yeah, that's we'll mention this again at the end, but I'll be back next Monday night. So obviously we upload Real Talks on Monday morning. So I'm like training the fellas, and Cam's going to be gone next weekend as well. God. So George and Seth are taking it on for 102. And I'm going to be training the fellas on how to upload the podcast, and hopefully it all goes well. I'm just going to record how I do it for this one and send it to them. But if there's no episode next Monday,
should we apologize now?
I'm just gonna say if there's no episode next Monday, there will be an episode Tuesday. So there will be an episode next week. But if you don't see one Monday morning, it's probably just gonna be Tuesday morning. But I have my full confidence in them. But just a disclaimer off the bat. But yeah, that's how my week's been.
It's a crazy disclaimer.
Hey man, you gotta tell people.
That absolutely necessary. But we'll move along. Cam, how you doing? Continuing house renovations through the week, I'm assuming.
Yeah, my body's breaking down. I'm getting ticked off at everything. I feel bad. I've just been a grumpy goose this week. Just a lot of house renovations. Everything's slower than you would hope. I don't know. Just a lot going on. Everything's expensive, all that jazz, but it's fun. It's one of those things I was so amped for prior. I'm sure if you go roll the tape back to like episode 97 or whenever it was, I was probably so excited, and now I'm just broken down, defeated, and bad.
Has Emma been doing her like TikToks on it? I know you mentioned that.
No, like that went out the wind quick because like nothing's gotten done. So there's like no start to finish TikTok. We would have been recording for like 4 weeks. It's just a mess. I don't know. Maybe she'll do that. I did tease that. I hope one day she might get into it. Maybe I'll start TikTok this again. I don't know.
What's like the current project? Like if right now you're going to go start working on your house, like for the next few hours, like what are you doing?
Today I'm going over and I'm going to try to pour the countertops. So we got concrete countertops. So I'm going to go try to pour those. We'll see how it goes. But yesterday we laid tile in the kitchen. So today I'm going to have to tape off all the tile, unfortunately, and everything, so just the order of operations there it was unfortunate.
They just want to like pay someone to do it, to say
I don't have any money to pay anyone to do it, Seth, but yes, I do very much want to pay. So at first I wanted to do it, but now I want to pay someone. Then I'll try to get the fence finished as well. I remember I like took off the week we closed. I took off that weekend because I was like, I'm gonna be there all weekend doing the fence. Fence is still not done. It's just, and by took off I mean like I wasn't on the ReelTok episode. But yeah, just a mess. Just unfortunate. But I was there all week. I was there all day yesterday. Emma and I then went on a little date night, but we went out with one of our friends as well. So it was like a third party, or what's a third wheel date as well. And then we went to see Trap, and they both hated it, which is awesome, hilarious, classic M night. And a direct quote from our friend was, "It would have been a really good movie if it was written and directed by someone else."
Love that.
Don't let the looks like a movie pod boys hear that one.
Absolutely hilarious. Like halfway through, I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna like this actually, but I still liked it. It's still a good movie.
I haven't stopped thinking about Trap since I watched it. I want to rewatch it so badly.
It's a good movie.
Cam moved his rating down.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I didn't see.
Just a couple points. It was barely a 4.5, and then it moved to high 4. So it's all right.
Was there a decent amount of people in your theater or no?
Yeah, there was a good amount, more than like yeah. It was a fairly full theater, to be honest. Like we were sitting next to people, which is rare on a second weekend. I can normally get, a spot away from people, but not this time. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell
That's
yeah.
about it
Seth?
for me, though. That's all.
Nice. Seth, how are you?
Good. Very busy week. I bought a PlayStation 2 yesterday, as I tweeted.
Oh yeah, I
Awesome.
saw your picture.
And like 70 games.
Well, so it was a very like impulse purchase. It's really fun though. Like I'm playing and I'm like, man, I used to play these games like
15 years ago?
15, 20 years ago now when I was starting. I think PS2 came out in like 2001, 2000, something like that.
Are these
And I'm
new
playing,
games?
No.
Like these are old games, right?
Yeah, they don't make games. We're on PS5 now. It's like they don't, like it was I was surprised. I think the console itself was like £100, and for a game console that's 25 years old or 24 years old, I was like, whatever.
Is that a lot or a little?
It's quite a lot,
Yeah.
100. Like because considering like how much technology has improved, but I think it's just because they're harder to find now.
How much does a PS5 go for?
Like $350.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, if you compare, you know what I mean. But no, it's really fun. I'm gonna buy some more. I'm gonna try and find some more. The issue is though, Tyler, as well. Like I don't know if you played like Simpsons Hit and Run when you were younger.
Such a fun game. Yeah,
that's like sold out like so many places.
Crazy.
And it's like £45
Mm-hmm.
for a PlayStation 2 game, which is kind of wild. And there's some other games I wanted, and one of them was like £150. I was like,
Pac-Man Adventure World 2.
Yeah,
I love.
I want to buy the Harry Potter ones. They had all those and the Lord of the Rings ones, because that was the age where they used to just shit out a game for every major film that came out. Like every film, like The Incredibles, the Star Wars games, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, they just shit out. It was so easy for them. So I'm gonna buy them. But that's really fun. Going to like an Alien screening on Wednesday at the UK premiere, so I'm very, very excited for that. Alien,
dude, I got a bone to pick with you when we get to what have we been watching.
Does that? No, you don't. We pick this bone.
No, I do.
Week,
I have a bone.
No, we pick this bone next week on our Alien episode.
All right,
but if you are talking about that mid, then yeah, I agree.
That's a crazy rating.
Shit, mid.
Good rating.
Good rating. Yeah, I wish both of you were here, man, because then we could really go.
Boo.
Yeah, I have it at a 3-2, just for the record.
You're like exactly the same, I think, both ways. That'd be fun.
Better than
Alien. Have you guys ever considered?
Shut up.
Better than Alien.
It's fourth best in the franchise.
That's so crazy.
Man. That's fucked up. That's really that's like sacrilegious, man.
Currently, I have it the same rating as Alien 3.
Currently,
I have it the same rating as Alien 3.
I love
sixth best in the franchise.
You have Spider-Man 2 sixth best? That is not worse.
You count the animated.
I mean, both of those are
Spider-Man 2 sixth rating.
From the outside party, the Aliens take and the Spider-Man 2 take are absurd.
Comment below, bros. Comment below which take is worse, Spider-Man at sixth or Aliens at fourth. Thank you. The reactions to Alien Rumble is like so far. I think it was like the premiere LA screen. Although it was like Hat Guy and like let's be honest.
I'm excited.
I don't trust
those people.
Those kind
of people. Yeah, fuck you guys, man. To be fair, the reactions, like generally speaking, not just from them, are like overwhelmingly positive, which is great, and I'm really, really excited for it. So that'll be cool. I'm really excited for that. But apart from that, this week, pretty dull. Went to see Spider-Man 2, which I'll go on to when we talk about what we've been watching in the cinema. It was amazing. And then that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Quick from me, pretty standard week. Just I was getting back into the swing of things from being out for like 10 days of work. My industry specifically, August kind of like lightens up. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but August is client-wise very slow, so that gives like me and my team a lot of opportunity to just focus on like my team as opposed to like satisfying clients. So there's a lot of good stuff at work that I'm excited about over the next like 3-4 weeks. I know I sent you guys a video, but I got these the LED lights, the Govy lights on my TV.
Anna said to me the other day, she saw your tweet and she was like, "We need those." So I was like, "I need to find some."
I'm like a little stupid. So the video I posted and sent you guys, I hadn't adjusted the lights, like the settings, to change color with the movie. So like if you look at the video I sent, it's like the lights are always just like bright orange and bright red. But then you download an app, you Bluetooth it to your TV, it connects to the LED lights, and you could adjust it based on what you're doing, like video games, movies, TV shows, everything. So I had to do like a specific adjustment where like the light dimmed and brightened as the movie dimmed and brightened, and the color also changed with the movie. So yeah,
what do you search for something like this, George?
So it came up weirdly as a TikTok ad. Nice. And I always scroll through those because I never trust those. The only things I've ever bought from like a TikTok or an Insta ad that I've seen are like t-shirts. But I saw this and I was like, you know what? Like I did my research and I looked at the website and I was like, you know, the ratings are fantastic. No one has anything negative to say about this one company. So I was like, let's just send it. You know, worst case, I fuck myself over by listening to a TikTok ad. But it's been great so far. It's been awesome. First movie I watched on it was the Batman, and it was fucking electric.
That's good.
George, please stop gatekeeping and say the name. I was just like,
that's the first thing I said. It Govy, Govee.
I didn't hear that. Govee.
Two E's.
There's a UK one. Nice. Okay, cool. I'll get.
They do like LED lights. This sounds like I'm not getting paid for this, by the way. This sounds like such a marketing tactic. Yeah. Oh yeah. Tyler's got them. Yeah. They don't
change with anything, but those are my backlightings are Govy.
Yeah. They do everything like LED light wise. It's not just like TV bullshit. They have string lights for the rooms. They have like lamps. It was sick. I was prepared.
Which is the one you have? What's it called?
I'll send you the link.
I was thinking about getting those. I'm always torn whenever I see those. Half of me is like, that's sick. I need those immediately. And the other half's like, would that be like too distracting? And like,
I will say I will not watch every movie with them.
Gotcha. I think like
not Furiosa is perfect. Like
not because it's distracting, just because I don't know. Every so often I want to watch like a movie in darkness, and I just don't need the LED lights. But like it's cool to have if you're like, what?
Can you like turn them off and on easily?
Yeah. There's an app on my phone, and it like your Bluetooth to it, so you can turn it on, off from wherever. Adjust the light, the color, the brightness, the dimness.
I think the movies that make the coolest clips of like people posting like, look what these lights can do, are like the movies that I wouldn't want to watch them on.
Yeah, like
Star
Tron
Wars
Legacy
stuff and stuff.
Yeah,
like, where there's like it's like
blue, red.
I'm like, no, that's too much. Like,
but Furiosa looked crazy though.
The ad that I saw, Furiosa was sick. The ad that I saw was for Tron, the new one, not the new one, the one that came out years ago. And it just looked sick because obviously Tron is a very like LED neon heavy movie. So I was like, damn, that looks so cool. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun part of my week. Saw Cuckoo, which was nice. Saw Sophie for dinner the same night. Nice catching up as always. And then Friday after work, I headed out to Jersey. One of my buds was just doing a barbecue. So we golfed Saturday morning and then barbecued Saturday afternoon to night, and then came back to the city. And now we're recording. So let's get into the bulk of our. Oh no, what have we been watching? I always forget about that. Also, shout out our executive producers, Stefan Johnson and Stefan Niebrick, as well as all of our patrons. If you're new to the ReelTok Podcast, welcome. We're all over the place: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Mateo's been cooking up some fire.
Mateo's been cooking up some awesome edits on TikTok, so definitely check those out. But yeah, let's move on. Tyler, what have you been watching this week?
Yeah, I mean, so I saved House of the Dragon for the end pretty much. So I spent a lot of this week, watching like 6 episodes worth. So that took up a lot of my like watching content time, was just grinding House of the Dragon. But for the actual week itself, last Sunday watched Babylon. It's been a hot minute, but man, so obviously like we did last week our top 10 movies, and it was in my top 10, which obviously like I love that movie, but I genuinely think the first hour of that movie might be like my favorite hour of any movie ever. I was just falling in love with it all over again. It's been like probably a year, maybe more since I'd seen it. So it's been a hot second. And man, I'm so that I like the whole movie, but the first hour, like perfection, no notes. Watch Edge of 17 for the first time. Really good movie. Haley Steinfeld's so good. I wish she acted more, but you know, she does a whole lot of things like with animation. She singer, professional Bills fan, but yeah, I wish we saw her in more movies because she's so good at acting. But I just feel like we don't see her much at all. And then I watched Janet Planet, which I know a couple people are like super high on as one of their favorites from this year, and I really liked it. I didn't expect to. It's very Kelly Reichardt-esque. And it's a movie like halfway through. I was like, I don't know how much I'm vibing with this. It might be like around the 3 territory. And it's not that anything crazy happens at the end that like blows your mind. Like, oh, this is a great movie. Actually, it's just like, I don't know. Just the more I sat with it and thought with it, I was like, I really, really dig this. So Janet Planet, more underrated movie from this year that not as many people are talking about, especially if you're not on film Twitter. So I would highly recommend checking that out. Good movie. And then watch Fruitvale Station. I'd seen it before, but like basically when it came out or when it initially released on Netflix, like 2016 or something. Solid movie. Michael B. Jordan, incredible. Obviously, Ryan Coogler, awesome. Those movies are always so tough to rate when it's like about such heavy real life stories. So it's like I gave it a 3.5, but like obviously the story's super infuriating and frustrating and terrible. And I was talking about that in my review, and then people in the comments are like, it seems like it's higher than 3.5. It's like, yeah, but I mean, like, that's like what really happened. Like, if you're judging like this movie alone, like you can't just like any movie that's about an emotional topic be like, oh, 5-star, you know? So I was like, you know, the movie itself I thought was like pretty good, but the story obviously awful. And then watch Mamma Mia while folding laundry.
That was my like entire experience with the Iron Claw.
Yeah, like all those types of movies are just tough. Like, I like it more than you, but I mean, you know, obviously every year we get dozens of movies that are true story sad movies. So it's like you kind of try and separate. But and then I watched Mamma Mia while I was folding laundry and people are like, man, that took you that long to fold laundry. And if you listen to ReelTok, yes, it does, because last week I talked about how my entire closet, every single article of clothing had to be washed and dried and cleaned because the air conditioning pouring all over it. So yeah, it did take me an hour and a half to fold laundry. It actually took me longer than that. But Mamma Mia, good soundtrack and vibes to get me through it. Rewatched The Social Network. I don't know, I texted you guys about this, but that movie might be like the best movie ever. And I wish all of David Fincher's movies could cook that hard because it's so good. Our podcast is so based for things. I like pretty much every David Fincher movie, but Social Network to me is just so far ahead of everything else he's done. And Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are so sick. And plug for Thursday, I guess we're gonna be doing a draft of our favorite film composers of all time. But Reznor and Ross, I mean, they just cook. And like, I don't care about the Tron movies at all, but the fact that they're doing Tron and Ares, I'm like, I'm gonna see it because I need to hear that soundtrack and score, and it's probably gonna be a banger. Then on my birthday, watched 2 movies. Tried to watch movies I thought like Riley might like, but first we watched Mistress America, which was my new 5-star from like a month ago. Rewatched it. Still a 5-star. I just have a great time with that. I think Greta Gerwig is so awesome in that movie. And then we watched Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stoppin'. Didn't hit quite as much, but still 3.5. Like I have a fun time in that movie. This songs are so iconic. That one's also like tough too, because like she'd never seen the movie, but like at this point knew all those songs, like growing up with brothers, like playing them all the time, and like all those songs went viral when the movie came out. So it's like a lot of like the jokes and like the funny moments kind of were already like taken out, so it wasn't as like shock value. But Maya Rudolph, she has shock value in that movie. She's in the movie for like 3 minutes, but makes an impact, and she's hilarious. And then yesterday was the Borderlands with Instigators and Silence. So both those 2 we'll talk about real quickly. One with Cam and one on my own when we get to the movie review section. But that's what I've been watching.
Awesome. Cam, what are you watching?
Game of Thrones. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Good show.
I hate George.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy.
We're glossing past that. You don't. Oh, my God.
George, yeah.
Did I miss something?
Did you miss something, Tyler?
The spoiler. Yeah.
I spoiled like lightly, but
no, I didn't even notice yours.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of said like the
I wrote a full paragraph.
They literally wrote the Wikipedia ending and then just put it in our group chat as if I'm not watching it right now.
That's crazy.
Seth, I shit you not, like my heart dropped when you said George ... And then I realized what I had done. I was like, wow. Okay.
I think when you get to it, you'll be all right.
Yeah, there's probably like 10 big spoilers you could give. That's
no,
like
it's
one
not
of
the biggest thing, but it's still like, it's pretty big. It's pretty.
It's one of.
Just don't say anymore, or you're gonna get yourself in another trap.
Yeah. That was crazy, George.
Where are you up to?
I'm season 2, episode 8. And I'm just watching through, and it's leaps and bounds ahead of. I really like House of the Dragon, or I like House of the Dragon. We'll talk, but it's just leaps and bounds ahead. It's so fucking good, man.
For sure.
But yeah, and then otherwise, I watched Molly's Game this week, and then I like Molly's Game a lot, and every mutual I have is like super lowly rated. I don't know if you guys have rated it. Maybe
I haven't seen it. I don't think I have rated.
You've been recommending that to me for like 2 years.
It's a really good movie. Sophie has a 3.5. Some people have it at a 4, but then I see like K Meeks and Kian have it at like a 2.5. I'm like, what's wrong with this? Mateo's got it at 2.5. Man, Mateo, what the hell, dude? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid, but I think Aaron Sorkin can write a movie well, and I think he does again here. He directs it as well, so it's definitely doesn't have as much sauce as if you got some other director, but it's still written really well, and I like that movie a lot. And Jessica Chastain should have won an Oscar for that rather than The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Oh, the year of The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
I never actually saw The Eyes of Tammy Faye, though, to be fair. So
neither have I, but Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana was insane that year.
Never watched that one either. I'm just not an Oscars guy. I'm sorry.
Is that it? Just Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Game of Thrones. I watched, like I said, Trap last night. I liked seeing it. Josh Hartnett's great. Salik is great. Banger soundtrack again. We talked it last week.
I still have to listen to the music. Like I haven't listened to it.
I haven't listened to it out of the movie either. But like it's good. I'm like, this is a banger.
It's good outside the movie too.
That was the one compliment they gave. Is they were like, the music was really good, and I was like, yeah, it was. Hell yeah.
All right, I've watched like nothing. Kind of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Nice,
fucking banger, man. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, damn, I wish they kept Alfonso Cuarón on for every other Harry Potter movie, and just made that like his. Not that I don't love every other Harry Potter movie, but it's so clearly just head and shoulders above the pack, in my opinion. I watched Dee, which I don't. I mean, eventually, I hope you guys watch it because I would like to talk in depth about it. But just very quickly, another coming of age movie this year. It stars Isaac Wang, who played the, I guess, bully in Good Boys. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but that's the only other place I had known him from. Everyone keeps saying it, but it's like the most accurate representation of this movie. It's mid-90s for the 2000s. Skating, learning to fit in, flirting for the first time, a very shaky relationship with your mom at, a very, I guess, critical time in a boy's coming of age years. So it really hit all the beats for me. I had a really good time with it. It was funny. It was charming. It was really cute to sit through. My theater was packed, which I'm really happy about. I also saw Cuckoo this week, and my theater was packed for that as well. So 2 movies I honestly did not expect to sit in a packed theater for, especially Dee. I know Cuckoo, Hunter Schafer definitely draws a crowd, but Dee, I really did not expect a massive crowd, which is always good to see. Mentioned earlier, I watched the Batman 14th log now. I mean, that movie is just insanity. I just have a great time with it every single time.
Not in your top 10 though, George.
All right. Lapse of judgment. I'd have to really sit down and look at that list. I apologize. Scorsese's Silence, which we're going to talk about on our Patreon review, which drops on Friday. So if you are a patron, make sure to watch Scorsese's Silence so you can engage in conversation. If you are not a patron, take a look. We got tiers and cool benefits, and you get bonus reviews and bonus content and Discord. And then I watched American Psycho last night, which one of those movies where like I feel like I've seen this movie so many times, but I don't think I've seen it in my Letterboxd era. Like I haven't seen it since downloading Letterboxd like 4 or 5 years ago. So I was watching this movie last night or 2 nights ago, and I was like, so much of this is familiar, but so much of this just feels like I'm watching it for the first time. So like 20 minutes into the movie, I removed my Letterboxd rating. And I watched the film as if it was my first time. And I love it. I think it's just such a fun movie, I guess we'll call it. It's like this insane commentary on the corporate elite, and just the shallow lifestyle that they live, and just being consumed by greed and appearances. Christian Bale, I mean, you guys know he's my favorite actor. Might be his best role. I've obviously always known him to be incredible as Patrick Bateman. Rewatching this for the first time in, maybe 5-6 years, I was genuinely blown away. I was telling my friend who I was watching this with, I was like, this is one of Christian Bale's earliest projects. That's an insane role to take, because if that movie flops, you have to, figure that's career suicide. To play such a role, maybe the movie flops and that's it. No one casts Christian Bale ever, because now he's typecast as this serial killer in a bad movie. But luckily they cooked. Movie's fucking amazing. I had a really good time with it. It's such a surreal experience. I wrote in my Letterboxd review that I was fascinated by its commentary and its ambiguity. I got several comments on my Letterboxd review saying, there's nothing ambiguous about this film. Completely disagree. I think the commentary, very, I wouldn't say on the nose, but it's very like cut and dry. This is what this movie is talking about. The violence of the corporate elite, capitalism, consumerism, materialism, hypermasculinity. But I think you can ask like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people how they interpret the ending of the movie, and you can get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different interpretations. Like me and my friend were going back and forth when this movie ended, and we were just kind of like running through every possibility. Maybe it was all in Patrick Bateman's head, and this is just the sicko lifestyle of being this very successful man. Like you just have this inherent need to be violent to people less than you. And then we also were talking, okay, maybe it wasn't in his head, and maybe he's actually openly confessing all of his crimes to everyone he works with, but their heads are so far up their asses and they're so consumed by all this money and this lifestyle that they're living that they genuinely do not care that this man is a serial killer among them. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I understand where people are like, yeah, it's not really ambiguous. Like, no, the commentary is not very ambiguous. It's very, cut and dry. This is what this movie's about. But yeah, the ending I think can be interpreted several different ways.
I think there's some ambiguous commentary with it. Like, is swinging an axe at Jared Leto a bad thing? I think you could ask people and they give you different answers.
I agree.
Oh, dude, it's such a funny movie because like you wanna take it seriously because you're like, yeah, this is like an important conversation to have, but this is such an insane way to tell this story.
Yeah, it's a comedic
yeah, you have so much fun. It's entirely satirical. Like fucking Christian Bale's putting on this such a kooky performance. I don't know. I had a great time with it. I really did. Honestly, I gave it a 4.5, but just talking about it, I want to like rewatch it immediately, and I think this can bump up to a 5. Honestly, I think this is a really good movie. But all right, that'll wrap up what I have been watching. Let's move on to
Seth.
Me, who you skipped.
Oh my God.
Game of Thrones.
My bad.
Well, bad week for me from George. Anyway,
why did I just go? You didn't go?
You're an ass.
No, because you just skipped me.
Yeah,
Oh, damn, I'm a dick.
You were
I'm
meant
sorry.
to go to me, and then you're just like, oh.
I'm sorry. Maybe
when you
my
watch
head
this
is-
back, just look at my face when you do yours. I'm like, great.
I'm on my Seth hater train this week. I'm sorry.
I've been watching Game of Thrones
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I watched Game of Thrones this week, which was spoiled for me. But I'm at like I think I'm at like 6 episode 7 now. So like nearing 6 is really good. I like 6. I'm on the crowd. I haven't seen like the 2 most lauded episodes, but I'm on the crowd that thinks 6 is really good. I do think it's quite a decent step down for me from like 1 to 4, honestly. But I do also think it's really, really good. Like I'm having a really good time with it still. House of the Dragon, same what Tyler said. I'd only seen the first 2 episodes, same as Tyler. You'd only seen 2, hadn't you? At this point, yeah. So I had to watch 6 episodes a week, and so hence it's not been like as big of a film run. I watched In the Mouth of Peachness, John Carpenter's amazing film. I watched Inside Out 2. Fine. It's very fine. Similar as like Elemental of last year or the year before.
Oh, come on.
Maybe slightly.
Come on.
I think I have them both at 3s. I think that's
fine. It's like a 3.
No.
It's fine. I mean, I feel that the way about the first one as well. It's not expensive. Watch Alien and Aliens. Alien being the social network of David Fincher's filmography out of the 2. But me and George,
crazy.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but okay, that was an odd.
Actually, worse to be fair. I don't know, man. Again, I'll speak about this next week. Aliens. I like James Cameron a lot, and I admire what we're going for. It just doesn't really work within the universe as much for me. And I think it's just about what you prefer in terms of like. No, but it's just what you prefer in terms of like this big sort of military-based action extravaganza for most of it, or more of a quiet, intimate tone. And I've always just preferred the more quiet, intimate tone. That's just always what I prefer.
Yeah, like 2 legends cannot coexist, my friend.
James Cameron is a legend. Aliens is mid. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Cook.
Watched
L.
It's really bad.
Watched Spider-Man 2 in cinemas.
Say anything.
Yeah, shut up. Watched Spider-Man 2 in cinemas. Amazing. Cried. Loved it. Amazing. Loved it. Cried. I didn't love it so much, which can't. I made her go. Just like she doesn't. Cam. I asked her outside. I was like, "Do you prefer Tom Holland's?" And she was like, "She said that I think they're about the same." And I almost felt like shooting her right there and then. It really insulted me. No, he's not.
Tobey Maguire, I can't get behind. Not in
the
that
films.
specifically. No.
I was asking the films.
The Tobey movies 1 and 2 are wildly better than Tom's movies, but Tom is the better Peter Parker Spider-Man.
I disagree.
Anna just rides to the bridge. She's like, get this American Spider-Man out of here.
No, I love Tobey.
If you want comic accuracy, you're looking at Tom Holland before you look at Andrew and Tobey. But maybe
I'm just like
everything. Tobey has wildly better writing to work with, which helps his case. But if you're just going straight up performance and comic accuracy, it's Tom Holland.
Yeah, but then maybe I'm just looking at it from that.
I will. You know what? Let me rephrase. It is Tom Holland's Peter Parker. I don't care which Spider-Man you tell me is better. I think in the suit, all 3 of them are fantastic as the cocky Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's fair. I also watched Maxine this morning. Have any of you guys seen Maxine?
No.
I think George watched it. Oh, no.
Kind of crazy. We all just skipped out on that.
Bad.
Did not
it's so bad. It's so bad. As someone who didn't like Pearl, I still think, I know you guys liked Pearl. I think this is still bad, and you will think it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad.
But why? What's bad about I swear, and this is not coming at you. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't
so bad.
Most reviews I see on Letterboxd from mutuals, their reviews are, this movie is bad, without giving me like a clear-cut explanation. All I'm seeing is, every scene worse than the last. But like, why? What made it bad?
So it's really weird, right? Because Ty West it's kind of like meant to be sort of part giallo, like in Clash of sort of Argento serial killer style within the end, especially, and then it's also meant to be like this kind of noir about Hollywood and about the decrepit nature of it and whatever. And it's just packed full of so many influences in one that he's taken just bits from everywhere that it's so messy from the start. The opening act is okay because as it sort of builds in, it kind of has that sort of 80s style. It's quite nice. But as it goes forward, and I need you to, you've probably heard people say this as well. The ending, specifically the ending, I think is the worst ending of the year, almost up there. It makes no sense. It lacks any confidence. It's like probably, I wouldn't even say a fumble because I didn't know the rest of the film, but it really is just woeful and it's just such a pathetic attempt that it felt like he was making it up as it goes along. But I think the main thing about Maxine is that it doesn't really have a balance. It just tries to throw everything into the mix and see what works. And it's not really like a successful follow-up from Pearl or X anyway. And I just think it's a really, really weird conclusion. And even as someone who didn't necessarily like Pearl, I mean, Maxine's a weird one because if I look at the average rating, it's like a 3.2. So it's like pretty, decent. But then my friend's rating, I don't know about you guys, my friend's rating of Maxine is a 2.2. Which is like crazy, like a 1-star difference between the two. So yeah, I hated it. I thought it was really, really, really bad. And yeah, Ty West fraud watch, unbelievably so. But yeah, that's kind of it for this week.
Can't put someone on fraud watch after one bad movie.
Pearl's
a good movie.
Actually, and the Sacrament, which is from 2013, and the ABCs of Death, which he did one part in. But even so,
did he do A, B, or C?
I'll tell you something, man. I'll tell you something though. Ty West is consistent.
Consistently, like okay.
X 3.5, Pearl 2.5, and Maxine 1.5. So all you can say from him is that he's consistent. That's it.
I mean,
I like Pearl.
Crazy. He also like co-directed VHS.
Director of wait.
I've actually never seen
19 films.
Yeah, dude, he's all over the place. He did the House of the Devil.
House of the Devil's peak, though. House of the Devil, I will say, is peak.
House of the Devil is good.
I like House of the Devil.
Hilarious Greta Gerwig.
He did
acting movie.
I'll be honest. I thought X, Y, and Z were his like debuts.
Oh no!
I didn't realize this dude's doing stuff.
I didn't know he did Cabin Fever 2, which is the sequel to Eli
Fever.
Roth's Cabin Fever.
I watched that fairly recently, Cabin Fever.
Or 2.1. That's awesome.
All right, let's move on to our reviews. The bulk of our episode. We'll start with the movie reviews. Tyler, you want to start with Borderlands?
Yeah, I think all these movie reviews will be pretty quick. Borderlands will take like 2 minutes on. It's just a mess of a movie. It's so torn between wanting to be silly and fun and being like serious and competent. And I think just looking at who's in the cast alone shows that. Like you have Cate Blanchett alongside like Kevin Hart, and then you have like Ariana Greenblatt, who's like she's fine, but she's like not superstar material. She's in blockbuster movies, but like if you're going for like serious Cate Blanchett type actresses and actors, you're not going to go.
One in Bobby.
Yeah, and like the Avenger or whatever MC movies. But yeah, it's like Cate Blanchett's so head and shoulders above everyone else. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and Jamie Lee Curtis is Jamie Lee Curtis. If that's positive for you, cool. If it's a negative for you, like me, yeah. But it's just so weird that she's in this alongside all these people who are just not nearly on her level. So it's like just a mess because like Cate Blanchett's fine. Like she does what she needs to do, but I don't like Kevin Hart and really the rest of the cast at all. And it's like there's the action shot kind of fine. Like there's the camera's at least moving and there's some interesting elements going on, but ultimately like I'd never played the game, so I had no clue what to expect. But this was ultimately just didn't know what it wanted to be. If it wanted to be silly and fun, or if it wanted to be serious. And whenever you want to make something that's serious and silly, which is possible, trap. But it's a tough balance to do. And I think this just failed in every way. I'm sure this was just with like a video game adaptation like this, I'm sure like the studio is heavily involved and there's a lot of people picking and prodding at this thing, but yeah, it's not one that made me any excited for any Borderlands cinematic universe or for playing the video games or anything. It's kind of like I watched it.
Be a Borderlands cinematic universe?
Probably not, because this movie's making like $0.
This movie made less than $1 million or something, or less than.
I was stunned when I saw it made like 10 million or something opening week.
I was stunned to find out that this was a theatrical release. I tried to look for it on streaming. I couldn't believe this one actually went to a theater.
But Borderlands is like I think that Borderlands it's a big gaming universe. So I think they anticipated that this would probably do quite well just off name value alone.
Maybe I'm living under a rock, but I genuinely did not know this movie existed until my mutual started to log it and watch it.
Did you not see all the shit when the trailer came out on Twitter?
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It
was all over.
We're on a movie podcast, George. We talk these things.
Dude, when?
We knew this was coming out.
I've known about this since the beginning of the year. Just
this shit caught me so
the
off
trailers
guard.
had so much shit on like Twitter. Everyone was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
like all the time when the trailers came out."
Probably
Even
a
me.
trailer I just glossed.
Do you read your fellow co-host tweets? Because I'm sure we all shitted on it as well. Watch, I bet you I could look down George's and he shit on it. He just forgot he did. Like, that's what we're dealing with here.
Seems like something I would do.
Yeah, it's just the movie is basically like an hour and a half long, and it really doesn't get into the mission or the objective until like 30 minutes in. And by the time that starts, it's just so like nothing, because the first 30 minutes basically sets up like what are the stakes here, and by the time that portion of the movie ends, I'm like, I don't care about these stakes, so have fun on this mission that I don't really care about because you didn't set it up enough. And they try to go for emotional moments that just don't hit. And like I said, some of the action works, and I just feel like, especially with someone like Eli Roth directing, if they would have just let this be like R-rated and have a completely different cast around Cate Blanchett, keep her, but you have a completely different cast that fits that more like a brutal like type of movie, it could have been epic. But or conversely, like get Cate Blanchett out of here. Don't try to get these like serious moments and make it full on silly. Like I just feel like it was a weird mix and it just didn't work for me. It's not the worst movie I've seen this year, but
you lose an Oscar for Tar one time and you start doing these sorts of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I wonder if she was just like pissed on set the whole time because Jamie Lee Curtis was there, who won her Oscar. But
oh, that's so bad. Too.
I'm pretty sure this is in development for like 3 years. So I feel like they
awful.
probably filmed everything before like the Oscars even happened. So that probably wasn't a thing, but still hilarious that Jamie Lee Curtis is in here as an Oscar winner, and then you have just Cate Blanchett going from Tar to this. Yeah,
she's still an Oscar winner.
Yeah,
for Blue Jasmine
and
for The Aviator. So I think she has 2. But
shit. Does Eli Roth have the worst like batting average?
His filmography blows, dude.
I like 2 of the films.
Thanksgiving's fun.
Thanksgiving's like the only one I really like.
Like one of the most
Hostel. The first Hostel is unironically okay. That's it. Knock Knock. I'm not going to get on board with that. I think it's
terrible,
unbelievably awful. Yeah. Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever is actually kind of funny, but also shit. I don't know. It's a bit weird one.
I'm so watching this. He directed a shark movie called Finn.
Where the hell is this?
Oh, this might be like a.
That's not a doc. That's a doc. It
might be a document.
Yeah, it's a doc.
But yeah, nothing really else to say. I wouldn't really recommend anyone go out and see this. Even like I feel like if you're a huge Borderlands fan, you're just gonna be pissed off, and if you're not a Borderlands fan, it's not gonna make you care about Borderlands. So it's just again in the middle of not catering to anyone.
Does the game have that pull though? Like, is it like this big game that like this we should have made?
Yeah, but not really right now. I feel like this movie, if it came out like 6 years ago, could have done crazy.
I used to play the games when I was younger, but I don't hear many people talking about the games anymore. It's like Tyler said, this Borderlands games were huge, and they probably still are huge in terms of playing numbers. But 10 years ago, let's say, whatever, they were huge. So maybe back then it probably would have done better than now.
Which is weird though, because I feel like Fallout was a little more recent after Fallout 76, but still Fallout, like in terms of timing, probably could have done it a couple years earlier. But I think still, like, it had the pull to be very successful. Like that show did very well. But Borderlands just didn't have
Fallout. Like Fallout's done a good job of staying relevant. So it's like they've, I think the Fallout games have constantly like updated and stuck with the times and developed. Whereas like I think the last Borderlands game maybe came out a few years ago, and I know it was meant to be pretty good, but like I just don't hear people that playing it anymore. Like Fallout's very, very culturally relevant. You know what I mean? So maybe that's
they're like similar-ish if you just boil down the plot to their bare bones in terms of like, it's post-apocalyptic. There's weird creatures. They go on these missions out in like the arid wasteland. Like I could see like because I'm just saying like Riley really liked Fallout, but Borderlands not gonna be the case. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like the people who are gonna see it opening weekend would be fans of the video game. The fact that it made like nothing means that I think it's just gonna be a huge, huge failure. And I said I hope everyone involved in it made money, but I don't think the production company is gonna be making their money back on this thing.
I imagine this will have been like the highest budget Eli Roth's ever had to play with as well. So it won't, very good directorial. Like I imagine.
Back to the drawing board for him if he wants a bigger budget.
Yeah, fuck Eli Roth anyway. But like,
Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
All right. I'll talk on Cuckoo real quick. I don't think this is going to be too long. Actually, it's not going to be long at all. I don't know who I'm lying to. This movie sucked. There were moments where I couldn't tell if my theater was laughing with the movie or at the movie, but I will say my theater was laughing a lot. And one of the first things I said when I left the theater was, I think people just fake laugh when they think they're supposed to. Because there's just nothing funny about this movie. It wasn't like painfully disrespectful. It was just drowning in cliches, both horror tropes, emotional cliches. There was like this central mystery that like Hunter Schafer was like trying to unravel that she got caught in. And it just didn't work. It was very boring. There were moments, particularly the first scene. I genuinely, this first scene is unfolding, and I'll slightly spoil parts of this movie. So if you plan on watching Cuckoo, just take your headphones off, I guess. But like, there's this opening shot of the movie where the camera is upstairs on the second floor, and it's like it's moving away from the stairs. But on the stairs, you can see like shadows of people arguing, and that's the whole scene pretty much, is just people arguing downstairs, very eerie upstairs. The camera's slowly moving away from the stairs, and you just see their shadows arguing on the wall. And then it pans over to like this girl having like this seizure in her bed, and then she runs away after doing like this weird tick with her ear. It was very cool. It was like a very like genuinely, like I was never excited for Cuckoo going into it, but that opening scene kind of made me look at this movie like, okay, maybe we're in for something. Like, I really don't know what type of horror this is. I had only seen the trailer once, and I just completely shut it out, completely forgot about it. So the opening scene kind of like pulled me in, but then you run through this narrative. One, Hunter Schafer's character, spoilers are on, so I'm just going to spoil a couple of things because I thought this was hysterical. Hunter Schafer's character, you end up finding out that her mom has passed away, but the entire like first half of the movie, she's calling and listening to a voicemail and leaving a voicemail. So all I'm thinking of is Captain America Civil War, because Helmut Zemo was doing that the entire movie. So I was like, they just Captain America Civil War'd us. Like, that was it threw me off guard so badly. Like, you knew her mom wasn't alive almost immediately. And the way they like tried to like trick you into thinking she was alive, and that like Hunter Schafer was brought to this like hotel resort area against her will, is by thinking that her mom was alive. But it was so painfully obvious that she was not ever talking to her mother. Her mother's not there. And then the film like unravels, and you find out that there's this whole I don't even know, man. You asked me to write like a paragraph about this movie. I genuinely couldn't tell you what this movie is about. It was so like edited together, like very choppy. Like, so one of the first things Sophie said out of this movie was, now I understand why this release date had been pushed back so many times. Because it's a movie that just screams production issues. Like, nothing really came together, I guess, in like this rewarding fashion where like you felt like it was resolved at the end, or you felt like anything was like genuinely earned. But yeah, it was very boring, which I've said this on the pod several times. I think if you obviously you don't want any movie to be boring, but I think it's just particularly offensive in horror movies. Like, at the very least, scare me. And I don't think this movie did a good job at like utilizing its horror elements well enough. I think it prioritized its mystery, and I don't think its mystery was strong enough to carry me for whatever this 2-hour runtime. Hunter Schafer, very fine. I think she's kind of flat, I will say. I don't think she puts on a very good performance. It's very monotonous. It's very dull. She has certain moments that were funny. She has certain moments within the horror that gave me a lot of promise, that makes me think that she could be like this next like awesome scream queen. But for the most part, I don't think it was her fault. I think she just had a really bad script to work with. But yeah, Cuckoo did just nothing worth discussing, I guess.
How is Dan Stevens?
Dan Stevens is cool. He's fucking creepy. Like
Cam
genuinely,
hates
like
Dan
he
Stevens
is.
so much.
Wait, why do you hate Dan Stevens?
I don't hate Dan Stevens, but he sucked in Godzilla X Kong, and everyone loved him, and everyone was like, "This is the best guy."
Who
in this
loved
movie.
him?
I'm like, this guy fucking sucked.
No.
You know,
I'm thinking Dan Stevens. Have you guys ever seen The Guest?
Yeah,
Because that's a good Dan Stevens performance.
it's like the one movie ever I recommended to Seth.
Yeah, he's great in Guest, but this movie he's putting on like this. Where were they? They were in like Scandinavia or Norway. They were in some foreign country where he's putting on like this very like quirky accent, and like he immediately enters the movie and you're like, okay, that's bad guy number one right there. Like that's who you got to look out for. Like it was painfully obvious that whatever is going on, he's the problem. But he is fun. Like he is probably my favorite part of this movie. He's putting on like this really quirky performance. He's trying to be funny, but in a way that like a villain tries to be funny, where he's trying to like, you know, keep himself under wraps and not like expose himself for doing something like sinister in the background. But yeah, Dan Stevens was great. Hunter Schafer, I think, is just fine. I think the entire cast is like really, really fine. No one really blew me away. But yeah, that's Cuckoo. I'm seeing 3.5s from mutuals. I'm seeing 2s. So I would be curious for you guys to watch it and then let me get your thoughts, because
I probably will. I've seen more low ratings than high ratings though.
Shit.
Yeah.
I know when the early reviews are coming out, people were like, I saw some negative critic reviews. They were like, oh no, like every cool moment of this movie is in the trailers and there's nothing beyond that.
That too, like even the funny moments are in the trailer. So like there was nothing like new to like really latch onto that you hadn't seen already. Like the mystery obviously unfolds and you're like, okay, you know, didn't know that was gonna happen. But also the mystery, God, I want to spoil the ending so bad, but I'll refrain from doing that. Don't worry. But yeah, the movie
spoiler free.
It's okay.
Spoiler review.
I don't want you guys to hear it. But also I don't really care to talk about this movie. Because the mystery does like unfold into this insanely dragged out third act where I was like, this mystery turned into, I guess, this like cat and mouse chase. And the way the mystery unravels, it's like you have like this creepy woman who's been chasing Hunter Schafer the entire movie. You don't know what is going on. You don't know what her vibe is. You kind of see Hunter Schafer's younger stepsister, or not stepsister, half sister, might I say, because the father remarried and had another daughter. She's experiencing symptoms similar to this like older woman that's chasing Hunter Schafer, and it goes down this whole like fucking tunnel of like mother-daughter relationships, implanting eggs into hosts, and it was so all over the place. They tried to do too much. But yeah, that's Cuckoo. Not great. Not my favorite of the year.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. I don't know who here other than Tyler watched Instigators. Cam, I believe. Cam, you did. So take it away, gentlemen.
You want to start, Cameron?
Yeah, sure. The Instigators new Apple TV Plus movie starring Casey Affleck and Matt Damon is totally fine. And not much else. It's not a movie. I mean, maybe you get up and you're like, hell yeah, that was awesome. But I don't think so. You're going to get up and think, yeah, I just sat down for an hour and a half. It's supposed to be a heist movie that the heist happens in the first 5 minutes and isn't all that captivating. It's a funny movie. I laughed a decent amount. Casey Affleck is hilarious in it. And I think him and Matt Damon work together just like Matt Damon works with both the Affleck brothers. They have good rapport. The cast is stacked, but I texted you guys when I was watching it, and it was like a lot of good actors doing a lot of not great acting. Yeah, just a kind of not not a nothing movie per se. I think it's a little better than a nothing movie, but kind of a nothing movie. Like I would be shocked to see this in anyone's top or bottom 10 of the year. I think if you're a diehard fan of this, you're going as high as like a 4 out of 5, and that's as far as you're fighting the battle. I don't really think there's really anything to spoil in here.
No. When you texted and said like a lot of great actors is given not great performances, at that point all I knew was the poster. So it's like, oh, Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, which alone can satisfy movies like great acting, cast power. So I was like, oh, just they're not giving their best. But then I didn't know anything about this before watching them.
Hauser's in this
like Hong Chau's like the main supporting actress. Paul Walter Hauser shows up. Ving Rhames is in there. The mayor's Ron Perlman. Alfred Molina's in there.
Oh, I forgot Alfred Molina.
Jack Harlow and Rob Gronkowski are both in it, which are like obviously not good actors, but like just to be
Rob
like
Gronkowski is in for like a cameo, but I expected to see him like he's like a supporter for I think Ron Perlman's character.
Yeah.
And he shows up just for like an announcement and then leaves. And I was like, I thought we'd get like at least some sort of close up with Bob.
Yeah. This is just like and it's directed by Doug Liman, who also did Roadhouse this year, but The Instigators is almost like a Boston version of like a Reservoir Dogs, where like you said, like the heist happens like the first 5 minutes, the whole rest of the movie is just like the fallout of the heist, trying to heal, trying to get away, trying to be saved. And it was funnier than I expected. Like a lot of funny back and forth moments, kind of like the comedic twist is like Hong Chau's like a therapist who like works with them, and like she's caring about their mental health and like decisions at times when like it's just like not the time to be talking about this kind of stuff. So there's some funny moments for sure, but not a whole lot of action. Like a lot of the action like cheap. Like there's won't spoil it because it happens like 4 times, or like this isn't a spoiler because it happens like 4 times, but a house or building blows up, which it happens multiple times, but like it always looks pretty cheap when those happen.
They did happen quite often. Like it was weird how many times they blew something up, and you're like, oh, all right.
But I don't know. This is just a whole lot of cast members that I really like that gave not their worst, but far from their best performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a movie like I had fun with watching. It was an hour and a half long. I had a good time. But like I said in my Letterboxd review, which is true. I woke up the next day. It's like immediately after watching, I'm like, I know I'm going to forget everything that happens in here, and I'm never going to think about this movie again. So it's just like a very 2.5, 3-star movie because like, yeah, I had fun watching it. Gonna leave my brain immediately, and it already has. I won't be thinking about the Instigators again. So
yeah,
I think it's worth a watch. It's a good streaming movie. Throw it on while you're.
It's better than some of the shit Netflix gives us. But like, and if this is like the worst it gets for Apple TV because they don't do like as nearly as many movies, obviously. But if this is the worst they get because they've had, actually, you guys didn't like Napoleon, right? But they had Killers of the Flower Moon. They have plenty of other things that I can't think of right now. That's fine. Like this is a movie you can have that's like not great and you can just, put it away. It's probably going to do pretty well for them. Just assuming, actually, I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about it, but like people like Matt Damon, people like Casey Affleck, shout out Apple for sending it to me. And I have not been on TikTok in months, so I just didn't make a video, so sorry about that. But,
do you have this above or below Roadhouse? Because Doug Liman also
haven't seen Roadhouse this year.
Oh yeah,
this year I've been lackluster in my movie watching. Normally I'll watch all those streaming movies at the very least, but just nothing this year.
I give both of them a 2.5. I think they're both similar quality. I think The Instigators is like a better movie in terms of like my overall movie viewing experience, and I have it a little high, like 2 spots above it in my year rankings. But I think Roadhouse is more memorable. Like I think Instigators is a better movie in my opinion, but Roadhouse has like the silliness that's so over the top that like I remember parts of it and I can still think about it. Whereas Instigators is going to leave my brain immediately. But I think it's like fine for a watch for streaming. If you have laundry to fold today after you're done listening to ReelTok,
and it's only I think it's an only hour 45.
Yeah,
like it's really quick. It's not bad, and it's directed by or it's produced by what's the production company that Matt Damon invented?
Yeah, I can't remember, but it's one where everyone gets paid very well.
Well, yeah. So good on them. Like I'm happy. Like the budget's super high for a very low, what looks like a low budget movie because they pay everyone fairly and all that. So like that's worth it, I guess.
Yeah, I'll say like in terms of like being something you could just throw on while you fold laundry or something. The first like we said, everything kind of happens in the first 10 minutes. So when that was happening, I was kind of like, I was like 90% locked in watching this, but I was like after like 100% locking because like stuff's happening like fast, like quickly. Like I'm like, okay, there's this mayor, there's corruption, there's this heist, there's so much stuff is happening. Like I almost need to like rewind this just to see what's going on. But like after that first 10 minutes happens, the movie gets very easy to just like pay half attention to and get what's going on. But that first 10 minutes is kind of like
Jack Harlow
just lock yourself in. Yeah, he does. Spoilers.
Sorry for the spoiler, but it's within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, which is a smart move because when you have a cast that has this many great people in it, like and Jack Harlow and Rob Gronkowski, were in for the proper amount of time.
Yes, that's fair. It's artist equity, by the way.
Artist equity.
Artist equity. So
shout out them. Yep. But, I think
nothing more to say. Nothing more to say on the old Instigators. If you loved it, let me know, and if you hated it, let me know, because I'd be shocked if either end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
to be honest,
agreed.
It's such a nothing, not a nothing movie.
It's such an okay movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Dragon Time.
Well, yeah, Dragon Time.
Dragon Tales.
Dragon Time. We'll go through. We're gonna kind of just do a full season. We're not really gonna go episode by episode. We'll go around and give our spoiler-free thoughts, and then we can touch on maybe some big moments if anyone wants, or if maybe as we're just talking about our spoiler-free thoughts, if we branch off into tangents and just start talking about spoilers. We'll obviously give you guys the notification and the spoiler tag. But Seth, we'll start with you.
Yes. What we're doing, just like brief, non-spoiler thoughts in general of the season. Okay. So I've had a few thoughts recently on House of the Dragon season 2. Now, to just touch on what Cam said earlier when he said that he thought, what did you say, Cam, that Game of Thrones is a much higher quality than House of the Dragon, to which I agree, but I also think it's just hard to compare given the scope of conflicts and families is just so much different, so it feels bigger. I will say though, I think the House of Dragon, one of the biggest compliments I can give it is its production. I think that's the only thing it really has over Game of Thrones, so to speak. I think that it has some of the best blocking, best cinematography, best sets of any TV show of the past decades, in my opinion. I think it's really, really impressive. I think that this season, and I think this season, again, I tweeted something about this the other day, it's been quite, not negative as such. Well, some episodes have, but I think it's maybe not lived up to the expectations some people set for it. I think it's been really good, and I actually really, really liked it. I think that there are some obvious points to which it was A, either rushed, or B, lacked something more, because obviously, as we know, it was reduced from, it was meant to be 10 episodes originally, then obviously due to the writer's strike stuff, it got reduced down to 8, which is always going to be, it's 2 whole episodes.
And they also couldn't write while, like a lot.
And they also, there was like you saw that, I'm assuming you saw that thing as well, like that.
Yeah. I was just looking up like all the.
So there was a lot of stuff going into
I don't think that was an effect of the writer's strike, though. I don't think they had, I don't think going from 10 to 8 episodes. No, I think that was just a stupid decision made by.
No, it was. I don't think that specifically was an effect of the writer's strike, but it was an effect of HBO making that call, or Warner Brothers trying to cut costs a little bit. But then, while they were filming during the writer's strike, so you can still do that, but you can't change. You can't
rewrite. Okay,
you can't ad lib if you're in the if you're in.
It was as a result, but not.
You can't do anything like that.
It was as a result, but not.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. There's obviously, those issues where you're not really getting the moments that you want. But I think a lot of the complaints about this for me have been kind of silly in a way that I think people will complain about things which, and again, I know what happened in Game of Thrones, the final season.
My bad.
No, I know. No, I mean, I know the complaints people have. I know what people are shit. And I feel like a lot of the complaints I'm seeing about House of the Dragon are like the ones, if they were to use those complaints, it would end up with Game of Thrones season 8 or whatever. In that, I think people just want constant barrage of warfare and stuff over and over again. And I think this season did a really, really good job actually building on the interpersonal relationships and the real personal conflicts between the main two houses and between Rhaenyra and Alicent. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think that there are issues. I think that it could have done with some more.
I understand, like, the people freak out on Twitter so quickly, like, oh my god, there's no action in the season, just a bunch of people talking. And my first thought is like, what do you remember from Game of Thrones? Like seasons 1 and seasons 2 of Game of Thrones. I know we had
talked this.
I know we just talked.
What did you say this?
I promise you, they were action heavy, but Game of Thrones was always this like politically charged, dialogue driven show with some awesome moments of action. But like it was never action.
Every episode of as I rewatched, every episode of Game of Thrones has some sort of not big dragon fight or anything like that, but a small like whether it's jousting, whether it's Bronn fighting for Tyrion, whether it's the Khal Drogo fighting, like they have some sort of action that holds your interest throughout the episode. Every single episode. As I rewatched season 1.
Why does action need to be the only thing?
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
I'm not saying it's needed, but it keeps your interest more when you have this action series that's driven through its great writing and it's fantastic. Like it has fantastic character arcs and great writing and great production, and all of this is so high quality. But then you also have that action in an action series, mind you. If it were a political drama, you don't need action. But mind you, this is a very much an action series.
I mean, it is a political drama, to be fair.
But it's not. But it's not.
But it is.
But it's not.
It's everything. It's a fantasy action, political.
A high fantasy action political series, if you will.
But it is that. No, I agree, Cam. There are actions, but it is a political drama. That is what it is.
I fully understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, Game of Thrones has that in every episode to keep a layman viewer's interest while also being a subtle. I'm not saying I like House of the Dragon season 2. We haven't even we're not getting into that. I like House of the Dragon season 2. I think there's a lot more that Game of Thrones does well in order to mesh the two genres better than
I agree. I agree. I think that Game of Thrones early seasons were definitely better. And I do think that the need for big moments is valid, especially in a series like this. Like I won't say that now, but some of the big moments we had from this season, especially kind of the back end of episode 4 and then episode 7 as well, which were really, really great. They're great episodes, and you need that kind of huge, cathartic release. But I think that the way they've built these moments up works so well because they've developed these complex characters in a manner that wasn't, rushed and didn't feel rushed. I think that's what works. I think that I like it when those moments are kind of few and far between. They're still there, and they need to be there. Because you need that, and you need that release, and also you need to have these conflicts showcased. And I think, again, we'll go into this, that a lot of the complaints about the season finale stem from that, which, by the way, I liked, but I also understand those complaints more in terms of specifically the finale, mainly due to how long we're going to inevitably wait in 2 years, for the next one. It is a very, very long time. But no, just to wrap up my thoughts, I think this is a really, really good season that was evident that 8 episodes was a mistake on their behalf, whether deliberate or cost, well, obviously deliberate, but whatever the reason. I think that was a mistake in that things could have been prompted further, but I also think they did a really good job at developing what we already knew from the first season. I think the production, I think, like I said, the blocking, I think the camera work, I think it looks fantastic. I also think as well, my biggest compliment to any show in Westeros, whether it be Game of Thrones or House of Dragon, the casting choices are always fucking incredible. For every single character, they're always great. Like it's astonishing to me how well they cast these characters, and I think that's always really, really impressive. And I also think that this season has had a dramatic impact on some of the actors as well. Particularly the guy who plays Aegon, for example, has just been a force and given those the opportunities to do so. So yeah, I think it was a really good season. I'll wrap up my thoughts there. A few minor issues, but I really, really enjoyed it, all things considered anyway.
You guys briefly mentioned it, but I do think it's important to bring up that graphic that was going around Twitter about all the issues that season 2 had. And not that it's not that one, I still like this season. So this isn't an excuse for why someone else may not like this season. But it did seem to go through fucking production hell, starting with Miguel Sapochnik, the co-showrunner, reportedly exited season 1 after they wouldn't let his wife stay on as a producer. Dumb, in and of itself. Miguel Sapochnik directed Hard Home, Battle of the Bastards.
Oh, really?
Winds
I
of
didn't know that.
Winter.
Good episodes.
He directed the best Game of Thrones episodes. Like he has such an insane understanding of this lore. So to let him go in season 1, and obviously he returned in season 2. He directed, I believe, what's it called? The Battle of Rook's Rest, I believe, episode 3 or 4, maybe.
Oh.
The Red Dragon and the Gold. That's what the episode's called.
And then, like Seth mentioned, season was supposed to be 10 episodes, dumbed down to 8 episodes, which, we've all been very vocal on this podcast. That's one of the big reasons we think all of these Marvel shows and Star Wars shows. Miguel Sapochnik.
No, so he didn't direct any in season 2 or
Really?
fully direct. Yeah, or write.
I could have sworn I saw his name because I could have sworn
Alan
tweeted
Taylor
something.
directed episode 4.
Oh,
Alan, I know that name.
I could have sworn I tweeted about Sapochnik in season 2. Maybe it was maybe it was an annoyed tweet that he didn't direct anything.
Maybe.
Do you know
But
what Alan Taylor directed?
Even worse, he should be there. He's insane.
Do you know what Alan Taylor directed?
No.
Thor: The Dark World.
No
That's
way.
It's
Really?
episode 100.
That's crazy.
so funny.
That's
If it's
wild.
the same, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you did.
cut-
Wow.
Cut-
okay.
So
Sure.
George R. R. Martin said that script went through 4 to 5 drafts, which I'm assuming was for 10 episodes, and then additional
Yeah, I think
drafts
so.
to cut it down to 8 episodes. And then, as Cam mentioned, once the writer's strike happened, they can continue filming, but they could not alter the script. This might be a dumb question. How would someone find out?
I assume you submit it. I don't know. I assume HBO executives would know, and then I assume HBO executives know the script, and then I assume they don't want they're against the writers in this situation, right? So then if you start changing it, HBO is going to be like, you're changing it. The guild's fucked, and we're not going to pay you or something.
And if you're a writer, you're not getting paid during the strike. So why would you want to
So
work?
why would you want to?
That's true. That's very true.
I ain't working for free ever.
No one's working for free.
Also harms it because the hour episodes as well. So it's like 2 hours out of it. It's like a big.
big.
big
The episodes are long, which is cool. But yeah, and then the season 2 finale is like the lowest rated Thrones or House of the Dragon episode, I'm pretty sure.
It's not lower
ever.
than the finale of Game of Thrones, surely.
It's the second lowest.
Oh, behind
I'll
season 8's finale, I'm
So I was
assuming.
gonna- that's like a 3. I'm pretty. That's like
shit.
one of the lowest ever.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
think
sure.
it's even that low.
I
don't
didn't-
know.
okay.
I think it's like the second lowest of the show itself.
No, it was of the Thrones universe initially.
I
but
don't
might
think
have
it
gone up.
is.
It
I
wasn't.
think the last 2 episodes. I think there's like 3 episodes in season 8 that are like crazy.
Either way, I
Oh
haven't been as
5.5,
active.
5.9, 4. The season finale for season 8 is a 4.
What was it for season 2 of House of the Dragon?
6.2, I think. So it's
See, I think it's okay. It's understandable. And I apologize to everyone listening for not continuing with my House of the Dragon content on TikTok or even
same.
even tweeting about it during the episodes. I think the finale of season 2 is a good episode. It is a bad finale because what essentially happened, and this is not a new thought, everyone's been tweeting about this. Seasons 1 and seasons 2 of House of the Dragon have ended in the exact same spot, which is now the war begins. Okay. So finale wraps up of season 2. And I'm like, okay, this is a good episode, but this episode did not feel like a finale. It felt like it wrapped up a season-long trailer for season 3. That's the vibe I get, which again, good episode. I won't say great episode. I think the episode has moments. I think I loved where Damon's story kind of led to and wrapped up. I love that one scene of him having a vision. I think that's one of my favorite scenes of the entire season. Loved when Allison
trailer as a vision.
Yeah, Game of Thrones trailer.
They got us with that. They got us with that one, didn't they?
I had to I had to double take that. I was like, is that my girl Dany right there? And then I loved Allison and Rhaenyra's conversation. I think when the two of them are on screen together, and this is including season 1, this is not just seasons 1 and 2. I think that's when the show it's at its absolute peak. When the two of them are on screen together, just going back and forth, that is my favorite moment. Those are my favorite moments in House of the Dragon. So I don't think like there's anything offensively bad about the finale. I wonder if season 3, if news came out today that season 3 is dropping in early 2025, like we get it in 6 months. No, it's definitely not happening. But I'm just saying, do you think people are extra mad that we have to wait 2 years, that they're taking it out on this finale because they know they're not going to get like answer? Yeah,
but it's fucking annoying how TV is, because you've set up this entire season for a 2-year break, and then I was looking at Game of Thrones, and it's year after year, bang, 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 10 episodes, mind you, just as long, better, higher quality, like CGI, maybe not higher quality blocking and cinematography, like Seth was talking.
CGI, you think?
Like,
yes.
Game of Thrones.
I think House of Dragon's an ugly show.
I don't think
I would not call it ugly, but Thrones.
I think that it has like some of the best camera work of any modern day TV show. I think
Winterfell, like when they went to it in episode 1, I was like, this looks awful compared to Game of Thrones.
Oh, really? I
was like, they're on a green screen set right now. If they're not, that's embarrassing.
I think Game of Thrones probably on a whole.
You know what I want. This is always the comparison I go back to with Game of Thrones and the production of Game of Thrones, and why I think that show was so successful. You look at something like Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which Seth and I do not love. My problem with that show is how clean it looks.
Yeah,
like that world never lived in, and those are the like. I get those vibes every so often from House of the Dragon, where this world just looks too clean. I think there are shot selections that are gorgeous. You get these large landscapes. I think Harrenhal is beautiful. But I get where like Tyler's saying, like, I don't think it looks that great. But again,
Dragons look great, but everything else,
Dragons look sick. I'm also just inherently comparing it to Game of Thrones, which I think is the best looking show ever. Yeah, you have to.
They're the same universe, and it's not MCU-ified yet. It's going to be, because there are already like 12 different spin-offs. But you have to compare the two. Like what we were talking earlier, just real quick, the House of the Dragon season finale got a 6.3, Small Folk had a 6.2, and then those are the two lowest rated of the show. Game of Thrones, the last 3 episodes all have a lower rating than that, which is that's a brutal way to end. Your 3 lowest episodes ever rated by a good mile, by at least 2 points on IMDb, are the last 3 episodes.
There's Aaron Rodgers effect.
There's one part in that fucking Thrones series finale I won't say it. But it's one quick line. It's one quick line, and it genuinely makes me want to punch my TV. Okay, it is the finale, the series finale of Thrones. It is the worst writing I could have ever imagined. It pissed me off.
But the coolest shot in Game of Thrones is when Daenerys is walking out and you see the wings of the dragon behind it. That's fucking cool.
I remember
a cool fucking shot.
I was senior year.
I might be on edge right now, just tapping my mute.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are doing. You guys are crazy.
We're not spoiling. No, we're not spoiling.
We just smelled a shot for me.
You just talked about cool shots.
You said a whole shot.
That's not a spoiler. You're still it's not a spoiler.
Every HBO, like you've seen it at one point.
You've seen that shot a million times. I guarantee.
It's the like show's shot. Like you've seen it.
It's the shot.
Well, you guys are stepping on eggshells anyway. Maybe that wasn't a spoiler, but you guys are very close right now.
I'm not saying anything else. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy how lowly rated the last 3 episodes of the show are, and just how poorly you can end.
Sorry, we will continue this in a second. In Game of Thrones, when did they run out of material? Was it season 6 or season 5?
7 and 8 were new.
7 and 8 were new.
Oh, yeah. I thought 6 wasn't.
I don't even think 7's that bad. I like 7 still.
I thought 6 wasn't as well. I had it in my head. Maybe not.
Okay. No,
at least D&D Star Wars are coming out, so good thing they wrapped up Game of Thrones so they can make those movies.
That's
Are they? I don't think.
No, they got
No,
fired.
that
They got
got
fired
scrapped.
because Game of Thrones
Fired.
is so shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they realized without source material
kind
they
of
can't do their fucking job.
Yeah, they're lost. I'm excited to just like, first off, whatever it's called is never getting released, but I'm excited for George R.R. Martin to officially say
book.
how Game of Thrones ends. Yeah, what is it?
I should know. Honestly, what's his name?
What?
I don't
Song
know.
of Ice and Fire?
Is that what it's called? What's the final book called of George R.R. Martin's?
The one he's been working on for like 10 years or 15
That's
years.
never
It's not getting released, so don't worry.
He's
What
just
do
in
we-
writer's block for like
What's getting released first, that book or Blade
or GTA
Oh.
6
or
GTA
6?
Or ReelTok episode 500.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be talking
How
about
old is George? How old is he? He's got
Dude,
like,
he's got to be
Doesn't matter how old he
70s.
is. With the health state he's in, it's not looking good for much longer.
True.
Is he not in good health?
What?
I mean, he's
The winds
people
of
that
winter.
big don't
Okay,
usually last that
I think
long.
I had that.
You know what? You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna pull a fucking Frank and Brian Herbert, where Frank Herbert passed away, and his son just started writing such bullshit Dune books. Someone in the R.R. Martin estate is gonna pick up where
Just
George.
give it to
Right.
Weiss and Benioff again, and let them let them write the book. See what happens.
All right. One thing I do want to talk about, I mean, not really talk about, just mention, is I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day who has read all the Game of Thrones books and has read Fire and Blood, which is the book that House of the Dragon is based off of. And what he was basically telling me is A Song of Ice and Fire, the right now, what is there, 5 Game of Thrones books? That is a very cohesive narrative. That is a story. Where when you compare it to Fire and Blood reads as like a textbook, like a history book. So there's no like forward progressing narrative where it's more like you're just reading bits of information and history, and it just kind of works as like an extension of A Song of Ice and Fire as opposed to like it's a true own entity. Because I was also watching an interview with George R.R. Martin where he was basically talking about, I guess, the inception of this world and these characters. And he was like, yeah, I started writing A Song of Ice and Fire, and I realized I just kept naming kings. Like I just kept naming previous kings. And he was like, you know what? Maybe I should write all of this down because this is something I'm going to need to remember, because I'm alluding to these kings 100, 200, 300 years in the past. Eventually down the line, maybe I'm going to bring them into story. So instead of writing a true narrative, he treated it as a textbook with Fire and Blood and treated it as a history book. And then nothing to do with like the history book of it, but he was also just something cool that he said was he was like, yeah, like he didn't have like a map of Westeros made before he wrote the books. He kind of created the map as he wrote it, which I think is very cool. He was kind of like, yeah, we start in Winterfell, and then I was like, okay, then we go south of the Wall, and you have, the Iron Islands, you have King's Landing across the sea. And he was like, as I was writing, he was like, one, I got to start writing this down. I've mentioned the name Aegon 6 times, and I've referred to 6 different people. So he's like, let me write all these kings' names down so that I could expand on this lore. And then as he also wrote, he was like, let's expand on this map. Like, let me not make a concrete map because that limits myself. He was more like, let me just write the story and figure out how this map will, like, I guess, grow, like, and this world will grow, which I thought it was very cool. But yeah,
I look at the map too. When I'm watching the show,
I look at the map all the time.
It's really cool. Just see like, oh, they're there. They need to go. Like, it's fun.
Every time they mention like Harrenhal or King's Landing, I pull up
how
my
close
map,
it is, and
how far are they? Like, is this like a 2-day trip by horse and buggy, or are they marching for 2 months?
Yeah.
But yeah, also, and speaking of that, by the way, and this was one of my criticisms for seasons 7 and 8 of Thrones. Seasons 1 through 6 of Thrones, you felt the size of Westeros. Like someone was like, hey, I have to go to Winterfell. They would not be in Winterfell for 3 episodes because they would be on their journey to Winterfell. And like what the showrunners of Game of Thrones did so well for seasons 1 through 6 is just truly make Westeros feel massive And then like season 7 and 8 and even House of the Dragon 1 and 2, people just get to their destination immediately. So it doesn't have like that, like, you know, grandeur impression of like this massive land that we used to get with Game of Thrones, which again, not like a criticism, more so just like me being a fan of world building. It's more of just like a little nitpick. And Seth, you're about to start season 7 and 8 of Thrones, so I'd be curious if you agree with that sentiment or if I'm just talking out of my ass.
Well, I agree with it in terms of compared to House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon's like, it's just different though, isn't it? Because it's like it's much smaller in scope when it comes to conflict. But then I also agree. I think it's like you don't, when they travel to and from an area, you don't feel that. Whereas like, I don't know, let me bring up an example. When like Brienne and Jamie are like traveling, you know, and you really feel it, and like, there's so many episodes past to get there. But then it's also like in House of the Dragon, could they really achieve that so successfully when there's only really one main conflict happening? Whereas Game of Thrones, there's so many different entities, you know. So it's kind of hard to compare. But yeah, I'll see it in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm happy. Yeah, go Tyler, go.
I say this isn't a spoiler, but season 7 and season 8, one of the criticisms people have is that teleporting starts happening in Thrones, like in terms of where it's like in the earlier season it takes longer, whereas in House of the Dragon I felt like that happens a lot too, which again isn't like a massive criticism, but there's a lot of like moments where they're like, you go and do this mission, and then like the next day I'm like, oh shit, we're doing the mission. Like it's like, it just kind of happens.
Because how could they fill that space though in House of the Dragon? That's the issue.
Dude, even something as small as like Aemond popping on his dragon, and then 2 scenes later he's in Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Like it's just it dumbs down, maybe not dumbs down, because again, I don't think this impacts like my viewing experience, but it doesn't make this world feel as massive as it did in like season 1 of Thrones. But also, Seth or Tyler, one of you literally just mentioned, and I forgot, House of the Dragon, it's green and black, whereas Game of Thrones, you have 6 families, million side characters. Everyone is fleshed out and dissected. Yeah, exactly. There's just so much going on that just makes it so intriguing, because it's like this insanely massive, like interconnected story where like everyone crosses paths with everyone. Whereas House of the Dragon is very cut and dry. Green versus black. It is Rhaenyra.
But it's not even. But it doesn't even give you like a green versus black. It's just black. Like the greens are burning villages, and like Daemon's nuts. Like it's not even really that big of a conflict. And I just think it was marketed weird to not give you any sort of like, there's no point where I question, am I on the green side or anything?
I
like,
when you said big of a conflict, I feel like that was a little confusing.
No, sorry.
In terms of like, you don't choose a side. Like it's very clearly like any normal person's gonna be team black.
I think also a lot of it comes down to, and maybe not, but a lot of it comes down to budget of, there's a lot smaller, when you don't have dragons, there's a lot smaller conflicts in Game of Thrones that you can find interesting for a while before you get dragons, right? Whereas in House of the Dragon, every war has dragons. So can you do Daemon burning down, or Aemond, whatever their names are, Aemond burning down a village, like on a big dragon? Your budget wise, maybe not. So like, do you have to cut that scene out? The battle of the Riverlands, or those 2 houses fighting, and this is my issue with House of the Dragon, is like I just don't think any characters have really stuck. But the Riverlands fighting, like you see them starting the fight, and then you see right after, you see like, oh, the war was bloody and massive, and we skipped over that.
To be fair, in Game of Thrones, they do that like all the time.
They do. Don't get me wrong, but I worry it's a budget thing for HBO, is trying to cut costs as much as possible, that they're refusing. But Seth, you're saying like, what are you gonna do in between these scenes? You could show us those moments, but can you do the budget? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you could show us those things and prolong the season a little bit, then maybe, honestly, I think episode 7 would have worked better than episode 8 as a finale. Or do the 2 episodes that you were supposed to. But I think episode 7, if it ended there, people would have been damn happy with the season.
Would have been great to end it on episode 7. I agree.
I think it's just like, it just screams they missed.
What am I forgetting? What was the end of episode 7?
The end of episode 7 is her staring off in the distance with the 3 dragons.
Oh, yeah.
And then before that, you have the scene with the new rider and stuff, which is
just
cool.
in?
That's such a perfect finale.
that was cool.
Are we in spoilers for?
Oh yeah,
people in general probably shouldn't be listening to this if they haven't.
That final shot in episode 7 screams finale shot, doesn't it?
Yes, like that is the coolest shit ever. You have the 4 dragons behind her, and this is the first time Vagar's been like pulled away from a fight. Like that's
Vagar goes crazy,
dude.
Vagar's fucking nuts.
A unit, man. A unit.
Did you guys see the tweet where it's like, that is not a dragon? And then someone quotes it, put like, yeah, that looks nothing like real dragons or something like that. Vagar goes, I didn't realize how big that guy was. Jesus, dude, man. Like, you compare him when he's fighting.
The conflict is literally like, we need 8 dragons against this one. Because
against this one. Like, we need loads of you guys.
Because Vagar's burning his own team. Like, he doesn't even care, man.
Do you know what I don't understand?
Helena's dragon's small, if I'm not
mistaken. Yeah. Do you know what I don't understand? I didn't know the ages of each character. I only learned like in the last week that Aemon's like 16. I didn't realize he was that young. That seems so weird to me.
It's always that in Game of Thrones.
I know, but like
the start of the show of Game of Thrones, they're all like 15, 16-ish.
But Aemon specifically, like he looks 30.
He has such a facial structure that it's like he could be any age, mostly older. But even Aegon, like it's like you're not 13, dude. You're like 30. Once you get all burned up,
Aegon's older than him, though.
Wait, just speaking of Vagar
in the show, he's older. That's so crazy.
No,
I think Aegon's older.
Yeah,
how old, Ty Tennant, Ewan Mitchell. Ty Tennant has to be 10 years younger than him. Ty Tennant's 22.
Oh, do you mean the actual actor? You mean?
Yeah, Ewan Mitchell 27.
Honestly, thought he would be older than 27, but still 5 years older than King Aegon's actor.
It doesn't mean anything, but I'm just saying, like, it is. When I thought about it,
it's crazy though.
This guy's doing crazy shit as a 16-year-old.
As a 16-year-old,
he is like the operator of the biggest fucking dragon.
My parents' minivan riding like Aegon and
Aegon is crazy.
The dragon CGI looks great in the show though, but the thing they need to do, because this is a losing shot, so just like there's no way to do it right, so they should just stop doing it as much because it will look bad no matter what you do. Stop showing the rider up close on the dragon because that looks so Netflix damsel Millie Bobby Brown every time.
The equipment they use is pretty cool. The what I forget what it's called. It's like called the Bucky or the book or something like that. The equipment they use is pretty cool. It's basically like mechanical. Dragon, like
but I mean, like just anytime they show like the direct showing their face while they're like riding the dragon chime, like this looks Netflix.
It's the same as like the Daenerys ones when Daenerys like first rides the dragon. In Marine.
Which there's no way to do it right, but I'm just saying stop doing it as much because it just always looks so silly.
Although when the end of season 4, when we got spoilers on, when she goes, like that was close up, and that I thought that was really cool. What's her name again?
Game of Thrones or
House Dragon. Rhaenys. Yeah. And that worked. Those close proximity sequences work really well for me.
I think I stepped away, so you guys may have said this already, but I think House of the Dragon is the issue with it is it feels like they have these big moments that they want to hit because there are so many big, from what I've seen, like on like I've Googled like the big moments in A Song of Fire and Ice or whatever. They have so many big moments that they want to hit that they don't know what to do almost in between the episodes. Like episode 4 is amazing. It's one of the highest rated like Game of Thrones episodes in general. Episode 7 is amazing. But they just struggle to get.
Why is episode 4 that high? Shit.
It's like 9.6.
The biggest thing for me, and I like House of the Dragon.
9 episodes in Game of Thrones.
Still high, really high.
Yeah.
I like House of the Dragon season 2. And honestly, like the big comparison I'll have is like the Bear season 4, where they're both rated pretty similarly in terms of a lot of people are like, this is dropping off, this is bad. But I think like true fans of the show, it's kind of like weeding out people who like aren't actually fans. Cause like if you're an actual fan of like House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, like you're gonna like, I liked season 2. Like it gave me what I wanted, but ultimately, if you compare it to Thrones, which you don't always want to compare, but like Cam was saying, like, you kind of have to for this. In Thrones, there's like 12 to 20 side characters that I want to learn so much about. In House of the Dragon, I care about 3 people, and that's generous. Like I think the side characters in this are so not like Kristen Cole. When I wasn't watching, everyone's tweeting about like this guy's so awful, I hate him. Like, and like I thought he was like going to be the new Joffrey in terms of like a character you actually hate. That dude's so lame. Kristen Cole is such a boring, lame character. The Princess Rhaenyra is the GOAT because Millie Alcock I thought was awesome, and Emma Darcy I think is head and shoulders the best.
Emma Darcy is so fucking
so good. Whereas like
so good.
Genuinely
people
amazing.
might
They stand out like so well.
yeah
Every
it's not even
season,
close.
every scene they're in, I'm like,
Rhaenyra carries because
yeah, he's
people
great.
will be upset because
I
they
like-
like him. Olivia Cook and Matt Smith are fine at best. They don't do much.
No.
I think they're both
No,
I think
no,
they're
no.
both
I think
Yeah.
Matt Damon. I think Matt
Matt
Smith's
Smith.
really. I think Matt Damon go crazy.
I'll
They're
give
like
it-
the last,
he-
they're
he
like
was-
the last jewel. I think Matt Smith's really, really good. I like him a lot. I think Olivia Cook's really good as well.
Dude,
I like
Matt Smith, I think in season 1 is fantastic. as
Season 1 is
Damon,
great.
but I shit you not, the amount of people.
I'm talking season 2.
Yeah, we're talking. I'm talking just in general. People call Daemon Targaryen, including George R.R. Martin, the best written Westeros, Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, Fire and Blood character ever.
really.
And I do not get that
No,
vibe.
because Harrenhal
I
sucks.
think yeah,
I don't like.
They did
And
I don't
that's
like
all
the
he
way
does
they
in the
show.
season.
They
Yeah.
didn't build out any Harrenhal characters, like
Mhm.
at all. Like none
Yeah.
of the Harrenhal characters. Like
All
Yeah.
my homies hate Harrenhal.
It wasn't like whenever we went there, I was like,
I was like, I don't really
Yeah.
care about this. Like, what
I
is
like
happening?
Matt Smith.
What's happening at Harrenhal? And Harrenhal's talked
Yeah.
about a lot in Game of Thrones as well, as this like kingdom that was meant to withstand every attack and is cursed and stuff. And so like as I'm watching through that, I'm like, damn, it would have been cool to like see Harrenhal like be peak or whatever it
This
was.
highest,
And it's just Daemon like rebuilding
Mhm.
this, and he all of a sudden sees a vision, and that's why he now supports Rhaenyra again. But like it just, I don't know, his storyline was stupid
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, season 1, I thought he was great and lived up to the hype.
And I
Season
don't know-
2, and a lot of it's the writing because I also think the writing kills Allison too. Because I think Rhaenyra's
Yeah.
awesome because Emma Darcy and Millie Alcock kill it. But Olivia Cook, I really like Olivia Cook and Emily Carey, the younger version of Allison. God, they're so damn boring to me. I don't give a shit about anything.
I
they
think
do.
from what I've seen, and again, I have not read the Song of Ice and Fire. I think a lot is Alicent is not as big of a character in the book, but they tried to make her a much bigger character in the show.
I've read the
being
same
this,
on
like,
Twitter.
She's not,
as
yeah.
being this like dynamic duo of a
Mhm.
friend group. Like, how are they going to be back and forth? And they
But
just,
Rhaenyra is the one who it revolves around really in terms of this
Mhm.
conflict.
yeah. And I think
Um,
the issue with what you can do in a book when you're just writing one book versus a 4-season show is you can't have Alicent be the main character in season 1 and then Daemon or Aegon be the character in season 2 or Aemon be the character in season 2. Like, I think you need continuous characters on each side, and I think that's where they're struggling for.
Mhm.
Like, it would be hard to take Alicent out of season 2 completely.
I think it's kind of like what you were talking about earlier, Cam, about like which makes sense to market this. Is totally a smart angle to make it like Team Black versus Team
Yes.
Green, but
it was
it's
awesome
really
marketing.
clearly Team Black, and also like Rhaenyra is just so much more interesting and fun to be on the screen. So it's like they build it up as like these two are equivalent. This is like a UFC title card. Like our two goats are fighting each other, but really it's like not one, but like the marketing agents like pretend
Yeah.
like this person's equivalent, but they're not. And but Emma Darcy, like I can't stress enough. Emma Darcy like is probably like already in my Mount Rushmore of any Westeros actor. She's up there, like, or they,
And that's
they're
a
up there.
bit. That's
It's
a
incredible.
high tier as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I think she took a
you
big
think about
leap
Westeros
this
acting
season as well,
performances.
or they took a big leap this
Yeah.
season as well. I think they were a lot better
I-
this season than
Mhm.
last.
But
Yeah, I
they're
agree.
by far the most intriguing character. King Aegon, I think is sick too, so I'll give him flowers. But yeah, I think the big thing is like I don't necessarily think that acting is bad in this show. That's not what I'm trying to get at all. The characters are just so much less interesting, especially the side characters like Laris Strong. You know, he's kind of playing that like whisperer, seeing everything that's going on. But think of like the
Yeah,
4 or
no
5 people, like,
Varys.
the
I
thing,
think
like,
Yeah, Lord
Varys.
Varys is way better.
yeah,
Lord
everyone-
Varys is like the goat of every show ever, though. To be fair,
Mhm.
so it's kind of hard to compare.
just
you
like
know?
Lord Baelish and like any side
Yeah.
character, like any family
Yeah, you-
member of these main characters, you're like so much more
you
interested.
think about the
in.
small council and compare it to
Yeah.
the King's Land. That you could bear the small council from season
Bryce-
2 of Game of
Reese
Thrones.
Ifans
to
is
House of
really
Dragon.
good, but like he's
Yeah,
not
but
as
he just
good.
doesn't
It's
have
not
enough
even as
to
good as
do.
like
Even I even miss Maester Pycelle, who's like the biggest piece of shit ever, but at least I hate him.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the Maester in King's Landing right now, I'm like, okay,
I don't know who you are,
and all like the
I don't remember your name. You know,
all
that's
like the
issue.
Navy guys are just like there. The one that's cool that
Yeah.
becomes a Dragon Rider epic, but like the rest
Otto
of them-
Hightower was cool, and now Otto was cool.
yeah, it's just like
I liked Otto a lot.
I don't know. The thing is, like, I kept struggling because I like this season and I'm very much into Game of Thrones. So I'm like talking negatively just because I think it's like fine to criticize something that even if you like it. But the thing is, I don't know if the political writing is necessarily worse. And like I said, the acting I don't think is worse, but it's just nothing feels as earned. Like the politics in this are not as interesting to me. So maybe that's why it's a little more glaring. If something like the final episode doesn't have the action, it's more like, well, the political intrigue wasn't really there for me either. There's one moment, like you said, with the vision that was cool, but I don't know that. I thought, because like, we just had that debate of like, oh, is it an action show or like a political show? And like, it's a bit of both. But in Game of Thrones, the politics was so fascinating to me. And I was so invested and interested in it. But in this, I really just want to see the war, because none of the moves and chess moves and back alley whisperings and power plays, like it's just not there. That's captivating to me this season.
I think it's like Cam, you're muted if you're trying to say something.
I was muted, my bad. And it like give me the little pop-up that my mic is off because I was yelling. There's not a single like Cersei in this show who's in the game, but like kind of manipulating it from the side. There's not a well, Damon's kind of a Jamie of this show, like he's the cool fighter. So I guess there's that, but there's not a Ned. There's not a Robin Jon Snow. There's not a Varys. There's
Joffrey or Ramsay Snow.
There's not,
there's no, like, this is the thing, isn't it? Like Cam was saying, the King's Landing is the center of where of where politics revolves around within the show, within Westeros. And when you watch Game of Thrones, and again, this is kind of my major criticism this season, because again, I really liked it. But when you watch Game of Thrones, there are so many characters, and there's no one really. And even, if you go back to watching, Cam, you're in a perfect position for this. The first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, even within the first 2 seasons, you know everyone at this point. You know how they operate. You know who they know, who they don't know. Yeah. Within this, it's so closed in position that we don't know anything about each individual. We don't have anyone we root for. We don't have anyone we hate. It's kind of just a bunch of guys, and there are personalities that I like. Like I like Aegon, I like Alicent, I like what's his name, Aemond. But there's not, there's not a Cersei, there's not a Varys, there's not a Baelish. Even like I said earlier, even like the Maester. Like the comparison between the two, and even we get background on Pycelle that we don't get on whatever his name is. And I think because every ounce of politics really revolves around King's Landing, and it doesn't feel that way, within this show. And I think that's kind of my biggest gripe as well. There's no character, there's no people.
So that kind of ties in. And I just want to play this game. So humor me here. That kind of ties into my game of the week. Is we're gonna go around. We'll go Tyler, Seth, George. Name characters from this show. I'll give you Alicent, Rhaenyra, and Daemon.
No, those are free gimmies. You can't give us at least one round. Okay. Who's starting?
Now name more characters from this show. Tyler, Seth, George. I think.
Which three did you give us?
Oh, sorry.
I gave you the main 3. Damon, Rhaenyra.
Damon, Rhaenyra, and Alicent. Go on, Tyler.
King Aegon.
Oh no! I'm gonna try and go. Who do I go for?
Go easy early if you have
Damon.
No, that's who I gave you.
We gave.
Oh, what's his name? The guy.
I
can't remember. I always get them mixed up. No, I'm gonna focus on him. I always get them mixed up. What's his name?
Dude, you're already struggling.
No, I'm not struggling. I'm just hyper focused on this one guy. What's his name? Aemon. Damon. Okay, it's all right. I always get them mixed up. Aemon. Sorry.
We have Aegon and Aemon.
I'll go King Viserys.
No,
Otto Hightower.
Okay.
Helena.
Corlys.
No,
I didn't know you'd get Corlys.
No,
Corlys Valerian.
Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. This made it to like, what are we in round 3, round 4? Kristen Cole.
Yeah,
Kristen Cole. Nice.
Can I name a dragon?
Nope, no dragons. Dragons don't count. Dragons are cool.
Why can't I name a dragon, man? That's
because you'll remember the dragons.
Tyler, did you say Otto Hightower?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh shit.
See, this is my problem.
I can't even remember what the twins are called for real.
What's the name of Rhaenyra's son? Like main character of Rhaenyra's son this season? Because I didn't know until I looked it up.
I know the actor's name. Can I say
Tyrion Valerian? I don't know.
wait. Let me think.
Like we're playing this as a game, but this is a true problem. And there are probably other people that know it way better than us, or at least way better than Seth.
Hey, I've said 3. Give me a break.
I've got like
No,
6
I wouldn't. I
names
don't
ready
have
to
one
go.
more. I don't have any more.
Wait. No. I do have more. I do have more.
You're forgetting a big character.
Am I?
I mean, maybe not massive, but someone we should know.
In season 2?
Yes, and
I just
season
watched
1.
this. This is actually. Corlius.
Yeah,
Corliss?
I said Corliss already. I'm thinking of Rhaenys.
Oh, that's what I meant. Wait, no. Why are you taking my go? I can take that now. Yeah.
No. What?
What? No, because George just said it out of place. I didn't even say a go.
We can't read your mind.
We'll give you Rhaenys just to move on, George.
Yeah.
Listen to
Orwell.
Fine.
We're also missing like Lannisters.
Yeah, but I don't understand how you remember any of these people.
I don't remember the Lannisters' names in this.
No, I don't remember any of them.
I mean, everyone we've named has been a big. We haven't like gotten to like the shitty characters like fucking Kragon Stark.
Who is the nice? Good pull. Who
that was a good pull.
tames the dragons?
Oh, God, I don't remember the name.
Who tames the dragons? Big moment from this show. Does anyone know Rhaenyra's kid's son's name?
I should know his name. That's really bad.
I know the names of the 2 guys that tame the dragons.
It's actually 3.
It's 3.
Oh, right.
Silverwing or
You know which is annoying me? The twins. I don't know why I can't remember their names.
the twin girls.
No, the guys.
Who?
I don't know the twins, man.
The night guys. The one who died.
Yeah.
The ones who died.
Oh,
That died,
yeah.
What are their names?
Good episode, by the way. Good.
That was a really good episode. Yeah. What are their names?
Shit. Hold on. Oh, this is bad. We should know this, man.
Yeah, this is
the problem with the show.
Should we do Game of Thrones? See how long
that you can go on.
Game of Thrones after 1 season, I could probably name 50.
Yeah, that would last for hours.
Do you want the names?
No.
It's 2 A's, Alan and Adam.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Alan
of Hull
and Adam of Hull.
What's the guy? Wait. Oh,
wait. Okay.
Get in Damon's fucking daughter.
While we're here.
No, you're thinking of the wrong brothers.
What brothers am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Corliss's sons.
I'm not thinking of the 2 that fought to protect Rhaenyra.
Let me see. Adam is pursued by sea smoke. Mysterious spies. Upon hearing sea smoke. Yeah. So Adam of Hull is who takes sea smoke, and Alan of Hull is the Corliss's bastards.
Who the fuck are the twins?
I know. Rhaenyra's son.
What?
I couldn't tell you.
Does it begin with a J?
Yes.
Nope.
Jakari. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Oh man, what episode was that when they die? I think episode 2. Eric and Eric. That's what
Eric and Eric.
Oh God, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. That's bad.
So the 2 that claim the other dragons are Ulf and Hugh Hard or something. Hugh something. But these are characters we should know easy.
Do we miss any of the big ones? We got
no.
Yeah, you missed all the big ones, guys. Mysaria is the girl who
can I continue this game real quick?
Yeah, go crazy.
I'm gonna name dragons. Tell me who the rider is.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, we'll start easy. Vagar.
Damon. I always want to say Damon with his name. I don't know what it is.
Sunfire.
Aegon.
Yeah, good pull.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Sunfire. He
rip Sunfire.
I think he's alive still.
Oh, is the dragon alive?
I think so.
No.
I definitely thought the dragon died.
I swear, no, the dragon. They carry the dragon. I swear the dragon's died.
No, that's the girl's dragon, Rhaenys's dragon.
That's when it. Yeah. No. Actually, no, you might be right. Yeah, no, you might be right.
Sunfire. I'm sorry, we just did Sunfire. Dreamfire.
Oh,
Helena.
that's
Helena.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's the smaller one. Yeah.
I might butcher this pronunciation. Syrax.
Is that
Syrax? And that's Rhaenyra's.
That's Rhaenyra's.
I have done a lot of like who rides each dragon because I didn't know.
Okay.
To be fair, so I might stop.
You're pulling these. All right, Caraxes.
Is that Jakari's?
No.
It's Damon's.
That's Damon's.
Oh shit.
The dragons are cool, man. That's why
the dragons
I like
are
them.
cool. This one should be easier. Maylise.
Renice.
Denise.
Yep. R.I.P.
Rip.
Which she's stupid. She should have never gone back to fight Vagar.
But she got honor, you know. She ain't fucking down for
but that was a losing battle.
Yeah, imagine seeing that beast and going back to him. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then who rides Vermax?
Vermax is shit. Who does ride Vermax?
Vermax.
I don't know Vermax. Is that Jace?
Is that?
It's Jacari's Valerian.
That's
Yeah,
his.
that's
Okay, yeah. Jace, yeah, that's his. Okay.
All right, those are the big dragons. But
Great, I got a total of two.
Sea Smoke is Adam of Hull, and then Ulf is one of them, and then Vermithor is the other guy that we just named, Hugh, and then Ulf has someone. I forget who Ulf has.
Jason Lannister. Hey, did you know the guy in Harrenhal who Damon's with? Do you know he's called Sir Simon Strong? Because I wouldn't have got that.
No, I don't. That's my issue with this show. And I think a lot of great things come of it, but I don't think they've made interesting characters outside of like 5.
All right, let me talk on some positives before we wrap up. We don't want to end on the negatives. One, Ramin Djawadi, man, this dude cooks left and right with these scores. Say what you want, whether you like the scene or not. There's just no criticism on the score. This man has painted a picture so vividly through music. It makes me cry every time. That fucking Goodbye Brother theme opened up episode 1, and I damn near started crying. Like I love those. Like he did it a lot in season 1 of House of the Dragon too, especially with like the Last of the Starks, Queen's Justice. He pulled a lot of like already used sounds from Game of Thrones and just kind of like revamp them for like a nostalgic feeling, which I think just works perfectly in House of the Dragon. But he's obviously still crafting new music. You have like Protector of the Realm, which is one of my favorite scenes from last year, where Viserys is like walking up to the throne and Daemon helps him. Protector of the Realm is insane. And then I this may be a hot take, but I think episode 1 of season 2 was my absolute favorite, even though, I loved Rook's Rest. I loved episode 7, but titling episode 1, A Son for a Son, and then like 1, I love the reintroduction when you're in Winterfell. I love that whole conversation. Again, Goodbye Brother is playing in the background, so I think
they're at the wall, aren't they?
Yeah, they're at the wall. Oh,
yeah,
what did I say?
You said
my bad. They're at the wall.
I just want to make sure I'm not wrong.
No, you are correct. They're at the wall. That was my fault. But yeah, and then the episode like unfolds, and I was like, wow, they're really setting up the politics of this season beautifully. And then it obviously ends with Helena having to pick which kid to murder, which I thought was like insane fucking episode, insane ending to episode 1, because that set up. Again, it set up something that should have been more politically charged, or even more action charged, because like that happens and you're like, wow, like that's going to spark a war right now. But yeah, I loved episode 1. And then,
should we say our favorite episodes?
Yeah,
well?
Yeah. What are your favorites?
I'll say my favorite was episode 7. I think I loved episode 7.
Good episode.
Episode 4.
Tyler?
7 or 4.
Brooks Rest. Yep. Great episode, dude. There are good highs in this season.
I liked Small Folk.
Again, I understand the criticism.
Small Folk is the lowest rated of the season.
I liked that one.
That's the finale?
No, the finale's got it. Really?
It's not. No, that's what I was saying.
No, he's right. No, yeah, he's right.
Small
Folk
is a 7 or a 6.2. Sorry, House of the
I
Dragon.
liked Small Folk.
Again, ratings don't entirely matter. I'm just shocked you threw that one out.
All right, but anyways, and then one last thing, because I know a lot of people, I think people think that I like know Westeros and like Game of Thrones lore way better than I fucking do, but I've gotten several DMs asking who that Antler Man was in Daemon's vision. One, like I said earlier, that was one of my favorite scenes of the entire show, seasons 1 or 2.
Baratheon?
No,
is there like Stag? Is there Sigil?
So like this is what I'm finding. So and I'm just reading off of this article. So blah, blah, blah. Fans think this could be one of the Green Men, as when the subtitles are turned on in the episode, it describes antlered human-shaped clip-clopping grumbles. But what are actually the Green Men and what are their significance? So the Green Men are a sacred order who guard the Isle of Faces in the Roverlands. Some tales claim they are horned and have dark green skin. Others say they ride elk and have their own antlers. So the Green Men were created when the first men and children of the forest decided that the war between them had gone too long. Both groups came together to make peace of the Isle of Faces in the God's Eye near Harrenhal. They both agreed to a pact where the first men could have all land besides the deep forest, which would be controlled by the children of the forest, which I'm assuming is the Green Men. So yeah, that's what I got. That's kind of, I think, all the understanding necessary right now. I don't know how that's going to play into season 3, or if that's even going to come up. Maybe
I don't
that's
know if
just,
it will. I don't know if it's just like a thing.
yeah, it was just like a gaming, just like a cool
little
snap pointed screen kind of thing for like
little Leo moment for all the fans.
Yeah.
Just like an episode like 3 when she mentions the Song of Ice and Fire.
Exactly.
And everyone,
dude, when Rhaenyra goes to King's Landing in episode 3 and talks to, again, I said this earlier, when Rhaenyra and Alicent are talking, that's the best moments in this show.
Is that when everyone makes like the table with the candles? And stuff?
With all the candles, and Alicent is like, he talked about the prince who was promised, and Rhaenyra is realizing that Viserys told her a story and wasn't talking about her son Aegon. So yeah, again, good season. I like this season. Anything else before we? I
will say, George mentioned lore there. We just passed the point in Game of Thrones I was really disappointed about. So like when everyone talks about the greatest swordsman in Westeros ever, and everyone's like Barristan Selmy, Jaime, and Arthur Dayne, I think he's called. Arthur Dayne? And everyone's like, he's like the top dog, whatever. I was so disappointed we only got that as the thing. Like, just a flashback. I was like ready to see him fucking. It's crazy because he's got like 5 guys running him as well. He's like Darth Maul in it with like 2 swords at once.
Dude, it's all just like crazy. And I'm sure they dive into this significantly more in the books, but like based on strictly television shows, it's all just like word of mouth. It's like everyone just.
It literally is.
Everyone is saying Arthur Dayne is the GOAT. And you just kind of have to buy into it because there's no evidence for or against it. Yeah,
if Ned Stark says he's the GOAT, then I kind of believe him because Ned Stark's the guy. But I was just disappointed because I was like, oh my god, he's finally here. It was like when spoiler, when Barristan Selmy, I know he was like fucking old then, but he finally fights and then dies. I'm like, oh, well that happened. You know what I mean? I was like, I was waiting for this. That was pretty disappointing. And then Ned Stark just
one character we didn't mention as like a GOAT from Game of Thrones, but as he is like Tyrion is like
Tyrion's number 1.
Tyrion might be the GOAT.
Tyrion is right now where I'm at. He's been my number 1 since episode 1 of season 1 or whenever he first came in. I love Tyrion. I think he's like
there's no Tyrion because he's not the main character. There's no Tyrion in House of the Dragon.
He's like the 5th or 6th main character in Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Who is the main in Game of Thrones? Is it Jon Snow?
Jon Snow.
Okay. Yeah, it is Jon Snow.
And then number 2, Khaleesi.
Daenerys. Yeah.
And then number 3.
I think 3 might.
Would he not be 3, Tyrion?
I think Cersei's 3. Cersei's the
Cersei's
No, we're talking about main characters.
It's Jon, Cersei, Tyrion.
No,
I don't know.
Daenerys has got to be up there. She's like
really.
They follow her more than Jon.
I've only seen 6.5 seasons. It's literally about her getting to the throne.
The entire show is about her. She's very clearly the main character. Jon Snow is just beloved.
A little Mad Max moment. It's that Furiosa's main character. So is Daenerys. But my summary for the season is, I think the politics aren't as strong as Game of Thrones. The side characters are not that interesting, and only a couple people I actually care about. I do not think it lacked action. Thought all the action was great. Didn't really need any more. I think episode 7 would have been a great place to leave it off. Harrenhal is one of the worst storylines throughout all the Thrones universe, and we wasted a lot of time there.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, yeah.
It's not as bad as like Sand Snakes, but it's bad. And then I'd say the season as a whole, I give like a strong 6 out of 10. Which I like. I like the season.
I'd go maybe like 7 out of 10.
I'm going 8. I think I'm the highest on it here. I'd go an 8. I really liked it.
I'd go 7.5 maybe.
I liked it. I think it fumbled the ending. If it would have ended on 7, I think this season would have been really strong.
7's a weird number to end it on, though, isn't it?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, 8 is annoying
every
too.
show is like every show.
No,
is-
8's even though,
Thrones had a
George.
6
even.
episode season. Like,
Yeah, but that's an even number.
And
you can't
that
end on an
that
odd
season
number.
sucked.
You can't end on an odd number. Ending on 7 or like 9 would be weird.
I do think it's kind of because before I went through watched the whole thing, I like saw obviously the criticism people being like, season 1 was all setting up the war, now season 2 is all setting up the war. I do think like they shoot themselves in the foot a little bit that probably over half of the episodes end with like Rhaenyra or someone smoldering, looking into the camera as if a way to say like next episode war.
Gonna be sick.
And they do that like 5 times. I'm like, you
Whole
guys
season
got it.
was like-
If you guys don't want to be critiqued for this, stop making every episode end like wartime.
This whole season was we're about to get war. Every episode is we're about to get war, and you never get war, and so therefore it feels like a filler season. Like it really does.
No, I disagree.
I don't know about filler season, but it just felt like a massive trailer for season 3.
Filler. That's what that's called. George.
No.
You just described it too.
Harrenhal was so lame, and that was like half the season.
Sucks, man.
Yeah, they did spend a lot of time in Harrenhal. All right, let's move on. Good show. Even though we kind of just spent an hour shitting on it, but good show.
It's because we care. It's because we care.
Listen, season 2 made me excited for season 3, which means it's doing something right. But we'll move on. The big news of the week, like we mentioned earlier, was D23. We got a lot of trailers. We got a lot of news. So let's run through it. We'll give our quick thoughts. I'm sure we'll talk about several things here and there, more than others, but there's a lot. So let's run through it. We'll start with trailers. And this also this is like trailers, and some of these aren't really trailers. It was just like first look footage, but we'll just call all of them trailers. So we got Snow White. We have Barry Jenkins, Mufasa, the Lion King. Hilarious discourse around that one, by the way. Moana 2, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Agatha All Along, and Lilo and Stitch. I am not gonna lie, nothing.
I'm most excited for Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Moana 2.
That too, but I really liked Lilo and Stitch as a kid, and like so.
The live action though,
all we got was like a small teaser, so therefore I can't be like disappointed by anything.
All we got was
on Toy Story 5. We got like a teaser.
Yeah,
teaser.
There are some trailers not mentioned on here. Like, I think Daredevil season 1 looks really good.
Right.
But it's not like officially released. I just saw like a cam recording of it.
I feel like, and I mean, I don't know what the reasoning for this is, and I'm sure there's been production delays on Daredevil, but Cam, I feel like we've been talking about Daredevil Born Again since episode 1.
It got announced at the same. It did get announced 2 years ago at D23. Yeah. But Tyler's not an MCU guy, so I'm not like shocked by this in any way. And I don't think he's watched Daredevil in general. But Tyler said like one of the least exciting things coming out of D23, which I'm shocked like anything was exciting for him, but was Daredevil season 2 already filming. No, that's good because that's how TV should be. It should film prior to the season releasing so
just
that the
run
season
it
will
through.
release.
I'm not confident they know what they're doing though. They haven't proved it. Disney's never made a good TV
Daredevil I trust.
They've made Loki seasons 1 and 2 are
Loki's
good.
Yeah.
What If is good. They've made good seasons.
They've made good, but
they've never made great.
I think.
And Deadpool and Wolverine proved I don't trust Disney with R-rated stuff yet. So I don't know how brutal they're going to make this.
Yeah, but listen, that's
you can't say like the R-rated was the issue with Daredevil.
Yeah, the Escape Pod guy said this perfectly. If you don't buy into the Deadpool shtick, you're not gonna like that. But they did do the R-rated.
They did R rating fine. All you got to do is add blood and add fuck
and add some fucks. Yeah, like you're fine.
Daredevil's going to do well because people have so much nostalgia for the Netflix show. I don't think these seasons alone are going to be like anything special.
All I'm excited for is the fact that we could get 2 seasons in back-to-back years. That's all this means, and that brings
my
me
nostalgia.
Bring
I think my nostalgia towards the show is going to make me very bothered by Born Again because I don't think it's going to reach the heights of like season 1 and 3 of Daredevil.
It has like neck breaking kills and such, so it's not like it's like I don't know. I'm excited that they're actually doing like TVMA. Also the white tiger actor passed away. So rest in peace to him. Hopefully his.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Hopefully, I think he passed away losing a battle to cancer. So rest in peace to him, and hopefully he, gives a great performance as a send off. But all the fellas are back. They really revamped the Daredevil show after I think it was originally a courtroom drama with barely any Daredevil, and everyone was like, "This sucks." And so they brought Foggy and Karen and everyone back. The Kingpin's back. John Bernthal's Punisher's back. Bullseye's back. It's just
the MCU formula. Wheel out the funeral home, bring back people we know, and people will eat it up.
They also nerfed Kingpin like crazy in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Did you watch Echo?
I did not watch Echo.
I mean,
was he in Echo? Was he good in Echo?
He's extremely a part of Echo, George. He's like a main part of Echo.
Was he good?
Yeah, he's good. Vincent D'Onofrio's good as Kingpin.
Yeah, he's good as Kingpin.
He's the best part of Echo. But Echo sucks. That is really, really bad show. Just simply is.
So we've had 2 shows with Kingpin that have sucked. Why is Daredevil going to be one with Kingpin that's going to be good?
Because Daredevil with Kingpin
chill
is
out,
good.
dude. Because it's Daredevil.
Kingpin's already been in Daredevil, and he was really, really good. I'm just saying the back-to-back seasons. I don't understand how that doesn't that's a good thing.
That excites me.
In any fandom season, this you're the problem, Tyler. You're why we're not getting seasons till 3 years after.
I don't want any TV shows. They need to stop that shit. They haven't done good ever.
Loki's good.
Yeah, it's Tom Hiddleston as Loki, was the main character of Avengers. It's a big character.
Correct.
Daredevil's going to be
WandaVision's big character. You can make it good.
Speaking of MCU shows no one gives a fuck about, we also got Agatha All Along.
Fuck yeah.
Stop.
What is that?
No, fuck yeah, man.
WandaVision. Catherine Hahn's cool.
Catherine Hahn is cool.
Aubrey Plaza's cool. We'll see.
But the show will not be cool.
I think heard it here first. I saw rumors that Kang was going to be the writer of the Darkhold, so they had to I think it's the Darkhold or something. They had to rewrite the entire series.
Dude,
so that's fun.
I'm gonna I'm not gonna defend Kevin Feige, but I am gonna kind of.
He had a plan at the very least.
I think people are underplaying how much Jonathan Majors absolutely ruined the future of this franchise.
Oh, for sure.
Because they had phases 5, 6, 7 planned around Kang. Kang is insanity. And now they have to rewrite everything.
And now where's that bring you? Back to me, RDJ.
Yeah.
RDJ. It's just
my God.
They're fucked, man.
They are.
Agatha Alon's gonna suck, I'm sure. I'm so sorry. I love Catherine Hahn, man. I love her so much.
But Agatha is going to suck.
It's gonna be really, really bad.
Dude, every time I shit on the latest Marvel project, everyone's like, "Oh, but this guy will be seated for the next one." Yeah, I will be, because I'm too fucking invested now. But it doesn't mean I will inherently like these shows or these movies.
Moana 2 looks good.
What looks good?
Moana 2.
Okay.
Moana's cool, man. Moana's great.
In fairness, I haven't seen Moana in forever.
So good.
Are we still? Is The Rock still doing a live action Moana? Is that a thing?
So.
Yeah.
He's also doing 8 other Disney projects. He is in Disney.
Monster Jam or some shit.
Yeah.
He went right from the A24 machine to go back to Monster Jam.
Oh yeah, I forgot he has
that. He's gonna get his Oscar in the.
Oh my God!
Shout out Team USA women's basketball, just won gold. France hit a crazy buzzer beater. They're down by 3, but their foot was on the line for 2, so tough loss for them.
Sucks. Shout out Steph Curry for being the greatest basketball player of all time. All right, then we got a bunch of news out of D23, or news as well as maybe first look images. Tyler, we'll start with you. Avatar, Fire and Ash. How much is this making at the box office?
Over $2 billion.
Avatar. Tyler, is it Avatar or Avatar?
I don't know. Avatar makes sense, but
Avatar. Yeah, okay.
Avatar.
No, looks sick. First look looks awesome. I'm excited. It's gonna be another $2 billion for Mr. Jim.
Yep.
Looks great.
I mean, we only got those 3 images, right? I think, and the title card.
Yeah.
Cool images, though. Cool images.
Listen, I'm very critical about Avatar because I don't think narratively I don't care about any of these characters. It's kind of like House of the Dragon. Can't name you a single character except fucking
Jake
Jake
Sully.
Sully. That's it. The worst father ever. But I'll never criticize for the way these movies
Tyler,
look.
name me 2 other characters other than Spider and Jake Sully.
Natiri.
Nice.
I would have said the two.
I don't even know who that is.
Who
Who cares,
Come
man?
on.
Shit's great.
They look good.
cares?
They look like good movies. Don't get me wrong. And I enjoy watching
Listen,
them.
the movies look great. Okay, there's no doubt about that.
I'm
That
shocked
is
I
never.
pulled Spider, to be honest with you. But shout out.
I think it's more important. I don't think the argument works as well when we're discussing a big blockbuster rather than a TV show we're spending like 8 episodes with, you know? Like
I couldn't name any of the.
We're all Avintar and we're very excited. Incredibles 3.
cool name
Woke
as well. by the way.
nonsense, changing it from the Seed Bearer. Should have been the Seed Bearer. Damn it.
Was that the original title of that Incredibles 3?
No, Avatar, but that might be Avatar 4.
Oh,
Incredibles, the Seed Bearer.
Incredibles 3, the Seed Bearer.
well, I said
That'd be kinda
Incredibles
hard.
3.
That'd be kinda hard.
That'd be
It's
crazy.
like the origin story of the father of them.
Yeah, that's wild.
Seed
man. That'd be awesome.
Damn.
That'd be awesome.
And now
I'm
I
in,
feel
I'm
stupid.
all of a sudden I'm Incredibles.
Well, that works perfectly. I like
There
it.
we go.
Yeah, we are Incredibles.
I don't know if we are
I like
Incredibles
Incredibles
3
too.
though.
I like Incredibles.
I
too.
like Incredibles. I think it's Incredibles 2 is too cool, but I'm so bored of this. I'm more in with Incredibles 3. You know what I'm going to say is I'm actually more in. Oh, here's a question for you all. Are we more in with Toy Story 5 or Incredibles 3?
Incredibles 3.
Incredibles
Toy
3.
Story 5 by a big
Even
margin.
though like Toy
I'm
Story
very
5,
like
there's never been a
50-50.
bad- There's never been a bad Toy Story, but I think Incredibles 3 is more interesting.
Toy
I would
Story
say-
5's plot has a chance to be like actually like a very meaningful
cool.
commentary for
It does.
Pixar.
It
Yeah.
does.
Wait, what
I
is-
will say I
It's
give
like
it. I
20,000.
Oh, the
I give a
film
lot of
follows
grace
the
to
toys
people.
going up against electronics. That's sick.
And
It's
there's a
gonna be like
villain
an
that's like
iPad kid, and I think
like,
they could.
yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
villain. We said like 10,000 Buzz Lightyears who are programmed incorrectly, like the
programmed.
villains or something. If I had to lean a certain way, I'd probably lean Toy Story.
Now that I know what Toy Story 5 is about, I might be leaning Toy Story.
I have given a lot of
Incredibles
grace to
2.
Toy Story 4 being like a fine, like you had a good send off for Andy. Then in Toy Story 4, you have a good send off for Woody. I can only give so much grace to the.
And it's like, what are we
coming
just
back
going to
to us.
undo everything that Toy Story
Like,
4
yeah,
the
yeah.
final?
They're all
moment did?
together.
I mean-
then. They're all
Oh,
packed.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
this might be a dumb question. Does Toy Story 5 follow Woody and Buzz, or is it a new
Yeah.
set of toys?
It has
Oh
them
yeah,
all
yeah.
in
See, they're in the
pretty
teaser.
well.
They
You
released like
think
a
they're
teaser.
giving up
Okay.
Woody and Buzz. Oh my god!
I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna. Anytime I get the chance to mention this, I will. Lightyear, good movie.
Lightyear, bad movie.
Lightyear, good movie. Lightyear,
Middle of
greater
the
than
road
Toy
movie.
Story 4.
Just as
Uh,
good.
No. Toy Story 4 is good.
Lightyear bangs,
Toy
brother.
Story 4 is
All
way
right,
better.
Pixar's new original movie Hoppers follows a girl who switches brains with beavers to learn about the secrets of beavers. John Hamm will voice the mayor trying to destroy the beavers.
This is
Hundreds of
such
beavers.
This is
What-
such like a Pixar movie that like
Yeah, is that real?
Yeah.
That
it's
just
such like a
sounds.
silly Pixar thing that'll have like I'm sure it'll have motion.
As I was reading that, I was like, "Is this real or this?"
Yeah,
Is
no, no,
It's
Did-
just going to be a 3-star Pixar film.
the rundown? I didn't know if he was like punking me or something.
It's going to be a 3-star Pixar film. That's what's going to
I'll
be.
support it because I'm always going to support original Pixar movies because I'm more interested
Real.
in that than sequels.
Dude, what do we
Shout
got?
out Elio.
What
Elio looks
sequels-
Elio, yeah.
Yeah,
Elio.
what sequels were announced? We got Moana 2, Avatar
Frozen-
3,
Frozen
Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3. We got
money,
Freaky
Friday
money.
Freaky Friday
Lilo
2.
and Stitch live action. I know it's not a sequel, but it's still the same.
And then if
you
you're
know,
t- technically, if like we're talking about sequels, we got Agatha all along, which is kind of an extension of WandaVision.
That's a
I
spin-off.
mean, yeah,
That's a
that's fair.
spin-off.
Star Wars Skeleton Crew
Skeleton
Again, a
Crew.
spin-off and-
What if?
I don't know if that counts. That's just the same
Those are
universe.
spin-offs.
franchise
Wait, so-
continuations.
So of all of the news we got from D23, the
Hoppers
only
and Elio
thing,
is it.
Hopper Is
no,
that it? Is that
Monster Jam.
Monster Jam?
No.
correct?
Pixar have done a TV show. Is that Elliot?
Oh yeah, Win or Lose. Win or Lose. Looks
Win or lose,
There was a trailer came out for a Pixar TV show. I think I haven't watched it, but I saw
Yep,
that.
6-episode like show, their first ever TV show. That's fun. Like that's something. But
Right. That's a lot
Just-
of.
It's just
unoriginal
corporate greed,
content.
man. It's just boring. It's so boring.
That's
But I know
all
why
it
they're
is.
doing it.
money.
It's
Yeah.
all money. It's all money. But
I mean, Pixar's never really been a huge original. Like, I mean, from the beginning, Pixar they had a couple things and just sequels. So
If
not
there's
like
any
they're
Pixar
new.
film you would give a sequel to that we haven't had one, what would it be?
Coco.
Moana.
Coco.
Actually, we don't.
I don't
need
How
a
could
you
you
do
sequel?
Coco. We don't need to see. Maybe Wally.
Inside
yeah,
Out
Wally was
3.
out of thing.
Maybe Wally, actually. Yeah, maybe
Wally could be a cool sequel. I don't even know what would they do.
Where would you go? Maybe like Wally.
Back to large human ship.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and I mean, not lastly, but probably the thing I guess I'm most excited about here, just more news on Tron Ares, and Nine Inch Nails will be doing.
in it, doesn't it?
It does. Listen,
Jared Leto isn't that bad.
Compared to
He
a lot
is-
of people, he's fine.
yeah,
Still
he's
sucks.
like he's not great. I mean, he's super.
Yeah.
But the latest news that came out is that Nine Inch Nails will be doing their music. I'm gonna be honest. I've only explored like 2 of their albums since this news came out. They're a very rock heavy band, so I'm very interested to see how we're gonna move from like a Daft Punk
Is it similar?
Soundtrack.
No. Okay.
to.
I mean, they did Challengers and Social Network, which are very electro scores. So
Yeah,
But that's not 9 Inch Nails.
it's
No.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are 9 Inch Nails.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's different.
but still, like they're so
Different name.
they're so rock heavy though. They're like, it's so weird. Like you listen to Nine Inch Nails and it's like, how the fuck did they do the Challenger's score? That's such like a wild like break from like what they do. I guess that's
I haven't
just
seen
talent.
Tron Legacy. I don't know.
I guess it's talent,
Not a-
baby.
Not a Tron guy.
I haven't seen Tron.
Um,
I've seen the original Tron. I haven't
You
seen the
guys
original.
and your franchises, you can keep it. I don't want it.
And then just ending off D23 with some Marvel animation news. What If Season 3, which will be the final season of What
Good.
If. Stop.
Good. What if stinks?
No, it does not stink, man. What If is good original content. You know, what if this
Yeah, maybe if
happened
they
instead
made
of-
it interesting and said they make it.
It
what if
is
Force
interesting,
Kiddo
man.
eats-
Come on, dude. Oh
What
my
if
god,
Bluff
we got that
Kiddo
sick.
enters
We
the
got that
arena?
sick Blade Runner episode with Nebula in season 2. Like that shit is so cool, dude.
What
Like,
if season 3 should just be what if they made a good TV show and they just run the Netflix season 1 Daredevil? And that's all
Yeah.
what if season 3 is. They just bar for bar, just play the whole season.
That's peak. I would
That's
love
mad.
that.
That's
actually.
insanely disrespectful. Marvel Zombies. Oh, we got a What If Zombies episode, dude. Like that was so cool. Like you're forgetting all these cool.
Now you're getting a
episodes.
4-episode series
now,
about it.
now we're getting a 4-episode TVMA.
TVMA.
Sick. Awesome. I'm
Blood.
locked in. That's now my most anticipated Marvel project ever, above Secret Wars ever. I'm excited for a 4-episode Marvel Zombies. Then we got a new look at Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
This I think will be good just because it's like the X-Men '97 idea.
It doesn't sound very good to me. Oh, other than
just like
Coleman
it's not-
Domingo.
It's not
Coleman
connected
Domingo
to
casting's cool.
the MCU in any way, so it's just like Marvel animation team.
It's just
like,
kid cartoons.
Yeah, it's just
I might watch this though. It doesn't
It's
look
like it's
it.
like your old Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man or the animated Spider-Man.
The
series.
animated
It'll
film,
probably be
the
the same
series.
idea. It's not connected in any way. It should be good though.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo's a cool casting for
Norman
Uh,
Osborn.
Norman Osborn.
Yeah,
That's cool.
he is.
All right, and then we got some non D23 trailers.
Well, the Eyes of Wakanda as well.
right.
Oh yeah,
My
yeah.
bad. Animated series that delves into Wakanda.
That is connected to the MCU. So
Oh,
it'll just be like history of Wakanda, but it
okay,
still
I was gonna say,
just
is it
connected through like Wakanda. It probably won't.
okay?
Like, it'll
I don't
probably
know
have
if that
like
was
a
like
500-year Yoda in there or something.
okay. I didn't know if that was gonna be like T'Challa's father, like maybe his reign
Probably.
is king.
Something
Okay.
like that.
All right, we got a trailer for Saturday Night Live, which looks
Just Saturday,
terrible.
just Saturday night.
It's just called Saturday.
Just Saturday night.
Oh, just Saturday night.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
this one because it's not live. Just SN. It's SN replay.
Good call on that. I didn't know a
Yeah, I
movie
got you,
wasn't
man.
live. That'd be sick though if the movie was live.
That'd be pretty cool.
Dude, that'd be an
Yeah.
insane event. That would get everyone into the seats in the theater. But yeah, that trailer went in one ear, out the other. I don't know about you guys, but I did not love it that much.
I didn't watch it.
Cool cast, but
I like the
lame.
cast, yeah.
Like trailers, whatever. But I mean, even from when we first heard this announcement, like it just sounded like the most uninteresting movie ever. So
Yeah.
I liked SNL back in the day, like the Jason. I can't even think of his, not Bateman, but the other Jason.
Sudeikis.
Thank you. Like Andy Samberg. Those were funny, and
Those were
I haven't watched. I haven't watched in probably 8 years. So.
I mean, once SNL got to a point where like Pete Davidson and Kenan Thompson were their two funniest people, that's where it kind of fell off a cliff.
Weekend Update's still funny. Colin Jost.
Weekend Update.
They're
They are funny. They are really funny.
They're good.
I was about to say something about Saturday Night Live. Oh, right. I would have, and I mean, this is just a personal thing. I would have much rather like a Lorne Michaels biopic as opposed to like episode 1 of Saturday Night, a movie. I don't know about you guys. Like, I think Lorne Michaels is a wildly more interesting person
it's
than
still
just
all about Lorne
like
Michaels.
it's going to be still. Yeah, it is still going to be all about Lorne Michaels. But I would have liked an
He
entire
does that
biopic.
I wonder when like that Jake guy who wants to be in the next SNL cast member shows up in this
Oh,
movie
God.
as like a cameo.
Throwback to TikTok from like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Longer. I don't even know.
Deep cut in TikTok.
And then we
What's
got
he been?
Paddington 3 trailer. I think you guys know this, but I haven't seen Paddington 1 and 2, so I don't have.
I haven't seen Paddington 1
Neither
and
have
2.
I. I
Wow.
will get to
Shame
that.
on all of you. Paddington
I was
1 and
gonna-
2.
I really should watch Paddington 1 and 2.
Yeah, people
should.
like it.
Dude, they're my like
Great
friends rating on Letterboxd. Both
Mine's
of them
high.
have like a 4.3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's hard.
Paul
they're
King.
high
Paul
as
King.
shit.
You all liked Wonka. Crazy.
Which is good.
I loved Wonka. So good.
I do fuck with Wonka heavy.
Wow, Paddington 2, my friends rating is a 4.4. That is fucking.
Yeah,
dude.
as it should be.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is back to like some small D23 news. I'm sorry to jump ship. Continue, and then I'll jump ship.
No, go.
That's all for Paddington.
Did you guys see? It was like a discussing film tweet or article or something that I saw that Kevin Feige showed the cast of Fantastic Four Galactus destroying worlds in Fortnite as like creative ideas for Fantastic Four.
That's so
We've
stupid.
lost.
Speaking,
We've lost.
we've lost. Cam? Do you like the Fantastic Four suit?
Yeah, I don't like it in the sense that I think it looks good, but I think it's like a fun retro suit.
Okay,
Mhm.
I
that's
like it.
my exact. Like,
If
I don't
if it
think.
were like a 2024 suit,
No,
I think that looks
terrible.
like ass.
But
like a
yes,
fun
okay.
little, like 1960s.
It's a
retro-
period piece, remember?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a period.
That was
piece.
my
It's
my
actually being
thoughts exactly, and I didn't know if I was stupid for thinking that because I was like, the suit is not. I don't like the suit, but
No.
it does fit the retro vibe that they're going
Yeah,
for.
I think they are actually changing the name to the Fantastic Four Barry Lyndon. It's a period piece of the Fantastic Four back in the day.
I'll watch.
Crazy thing to say.
Seth is gonna get it to $1 billion himself. It's just Barry Lyndon, but at one point Pedro Pascal shows up.
Yeah.
In the movie.
In his suit? That'd be
Yeah,
crazy.
in his
Oh my
suit. That's all it is.
so funny.
Yeah.
We're so
Alright.
fucking close. We're
Dude.
using Fortnite as creative ideas.
We're cooked, but we'll be seated for every single project in the
I
future.
will be there. So
Yeah, I will be watching that one.
and I'll give it
Wait.
a 4 out of 5 unshameless without
I-
shame.
Yeah, I'm looking
I-
forward to that one, kind of.
Cam, I loved your Deadpool and Wolverine review where you're like, if this is slop, call me Kevin Malone and a pot of chili.
That's what I thought of the entire movie. I was like, this is like Kevin spilled chili and I'm eating it up. I love it. Oh man. That
All right,
one
let's
movie is
let's
slop.
wrap up with some movie news. We got let's get right back on track with Game of Thrones. We kind of alluded to a Game of Thrones cinematic universe, but that wasn't a joke. This is actually things that are happening. Next Game of Thrones spin-off series will be a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which we did get a very small
Trailer?
first look, I believe.
It was
Uh,
like a
7
decent
seconds.
trailer.
I thought
Yeah, it was
kinda
very. It was in like HBO's like upcoming.
Reel. They're
Yeah,
like
sizzle reel.
Was it really? I thought it was like a 30-second.
No, it was very short. Set 100 years before Game of Thrones, so 100 years after House of the Dragons, and we'll encounter several members of the Targaryen dynasty.
It's when they're in like the Targaryens are like in whatever.
I'm not gonna act like I know Game of Thrones lore. I don't know who like the king was at that. I'm gonna assume
It
it's
was
a dude named
Dunk and
Aegon.
Egg or something.
Who?
I don't know. This is all
Pretty-
about Dunk and Egg. I don't know
What
what
is it?
Dunk and Egg is. I've just been told it's
Oh,
all about
Duncan. Is that a
Dunk
person?
and Egg.
Is that the
Dunk
night?
and egg.
I thought you
Yeah.
said dunking egg. I was
No,
really
Dunk
like,
and Egg. Tales of Dunk and Egg. It's a game from
Oh, okay.
the Hedge
Okay.
Knight or something
Yeah,
like that.
can I assume that
Do you-
both of them are knights of the Seven Kingdom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get a Everyone asks for like a Robert's Rebellion. That would be really, really
Yes.
cool story to tell.
Yes.
You think
Dude,
we will?
the amount of fan art I see.
I see it
about-
all on TikTok, especially.
Dude, I've seen some of the hardest fan art of
Yeah.
Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark.
Fighting. It's the coolest fucking
Dude,
shit. Anna showed me
it's
some the other day.
The most
Yeah.
insane fan art I've ever seen. It makes me like think like let's scrap everything in the Game of Thrones universe and just focus on Robert's Rebellion.
Because that's like one of the ones they just don't have planned. Is it? I think so. I don't think they have planned.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what they do and don't have.
There's a
planned.
couple more.
I could be
that-
wrong on this, but I think they have 2 animated projects planned as well.
Oh.
But I
They
think
were
the
gonna
only
do a Jon
They
Snow
have
one, but
four,
they didn't do
four
anything.
animated projects, I think.
4.
Not 2 of them are untitled. Like they're just
Okay.
like, hey, we're making 2 more, but they plan for 4. That's why I said this thing's becoming the MCU. They're fucked.
I hope one.
To
If
drop
it's becoming the
so hard.
MCU, give me a what if Game of Thrones. Give me like a
What if
what
Venus Targaryen ate a dragon? Sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, a John Wick sequel series, The High Table. Speaking of another franchise that's about to be MCU-ified.
God, this we're so
Did you watch the
This is my
Continental?
fault, man. This
I
is my
watched
fault.
2 episodes of The Continental, and
Not good.
It's not that it's not good. It's like it's very tonally different from the John Wick movies, and I think the tone that like the Jesus, why am I forgetting his name? Chad. What's his last name? Stileski, yeah. I don't know what his involvement in the Continental is. If you told me he was not involved, I'd say that makes a lot of sense because tonally it was very different from John Wick. And
Only
I
3
love
episodes?
I barely made it through. It's not again, I didn't hate it. I just didn't like the world of John Wick not feeling like the world of John Wick, if that makes sense.
No one
but
spoke about that. Like I imagined it to be
Yeah,
quite
it's
big,
not
and I
big
didn't
movie.
have anyone.
I think
Yeah,
George
it
got a car for it, didn't you?
Okay, no. they did send someone like
Oh,
driving
yeah, I
a
remember.
really cool
Yeah,
vintage
yeah.
car.
Mel Gibson was in this thing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. No one spoke about it, did they? At
Also,
all?
This isn't a real
played a
show.
big part in people boycotting it. But anyways, the John Wick sequel series, The High Table, is in the work. Chad Stahelski will direct the pilot. That makes me very excited. And this is set right after the events of John Wick 4. Obviously, Keanu Reeves will not star, but he will be in as a producer. And I don't know if it's confirmed which characters, but there will be characters from the John Wick films included.
Get Donnie Yen in.
Show. Yeah, get Donnie. Dude, give me a fucking
Donnie Yen.
I want this. If the John Wick franchise was only 2 things forever, and that's it, it's the movies, and I want a spin-off of I'm forgetting her name, Bow and Arrow
Donnie
girl.
Yen's daughter.
Yeah, no. The other guy's daughter who Donnie Yen killed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be like I want her. Like I want just a vengeful trip. She's going after Donnie Yen. That is what I want to see.
I just want to say this is my fault that everything's a franchise now. I've defended Disney too long, and now we're getting John Wick's prequel spin-offs.
It sounds like a show
We're
that
fucked.
it sounds like a show that I'll say I'll watch, but I'll never watch.
Listen,
I'm
I
never gonna
will.
check
I
this
will
thing out.
start it for sure. Not going to guarantee a completion though.
We're cooked.
Well, let's move on. Good Will Hunting director Gus Van Sant.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
Say that 10 times over. We'll
Gus Van
reunite
Sant.
with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon on Killing Gawker, starring Affleck as Hulk Hogan. The film follows the lawsuit that Hogan filed against Gawker for publishing a sex tape of him. Giving me
I don't know about this.
I don't know about this either, but I will say it's giving me big Pam and Tommy vibes. I don't know if you guys ever saw that limited series with Sebastian Stan and Lily James about
People like it.
Pamela Anderson and Tommy.
Oh,
Tommy
yeah. I know which one.
which I think is great. I think it's a very good show. And just based on this very quick snippet I just read, that's kind of the vibes I'm giving, where it's going to be very like, maybe a fun 90s, early 2000s, or whenever the hell this lawsuit took place.
Yeah, but they'll
Like
make
3 years ago.
they'll make Hulk Hogan like
Really?
Lawsuit was like 3 years ago.
It was
maybe a
recent.
little longer.
Fuck.
Because Gawker was a huge website, and Hulk Hogan single-handedly bankrupted them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Deservedly so, because they filmed him through his window
Mhm.
having sex. Just like climbed up in a tree, filmed him, published it, and he took down
That's
maybe $1 billion, like huge
Yeah,
corporation.
but I'm scared that it's going to do this film in like Hulk
Demon.
Hogan's favor, and it's going to make Hulk Hogan like look okay as a human being,
It's gonna
And that's my
end with a
trepidation
cameo
with
of
it.
Donald Trump.
Van Sant doesn't miss though, so and him working with Ben
Yes, he
Affleck-
does. Yes, he does.
No,
Gus
Psycho
Van Sant,
98,
right?
great. Good Will Hunting, great. Jerry, great.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
what was the
agree with
first
all
one you
those.
mentioned?
Watch
What was the
Elephant.
first one?
Psycho
What about
98.
Milk?
Oh,
Psycho from 1998.
I didn't know he did
Elephant,
this.
not great. Paranoia Park, not great. I don't know, man. Shout out Owen if you're listening, but I don't like you. I do like you, but I don't like your taste. But but I just think it's kind of weird. It could be good. Like, I mean, I like Gus Van Sant most of the time.
I'm gonna be honest, I am not up to speed on my Hulk Hogan lore, so I don't know if he's
He's a horrible person, man.
Is he?
I don't know anything
Yes.
about that. But
I truly I hate to sound ignorant. I know nothing about Hulk Hogan.
He's very openly racist multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like very racist, horrible, misogynistic. Like I worry that they're gonna make him. You know what I mean? That's the issue here. And he said some shit. You just go on Twitter and go on his Twitter. It's mental. That's the sort of thing.
All right, I'll Google my Hulk Hogan controversy after the pod. But all right, Joaquin Phoenix has left Todd Haynes' next movie just 5 days before filming was meant to begin. The film was described as likely NC-17 rated and followed two men who are intense lovers and leave California for Mexico. I was seeing a lot of discourse about. I'm pretty sure Joaquin Phoenix left because he got cold feet. I guess that's the reporting.
rumor. Yeah.
That's the rumor I'm seeing.
Yeah, we
that he
don't
got
know.
cold feet, and I guess has he? I mean, this again might sound stupid. Has he never played a homosexual in a movie? Because he's done so many roles.
I mean, he also co-wrote this movie too. So
Yeah,
I don't know how
didn't he
this was a curveball to him?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how did this catch him off guard? Like he was a big part of this production.
We still don't know all the news, but at this point, it seems like he's a terrible person who does not deserve to ever be praised again.
Yeah, because some people tweeted about about the whole cold feet about portraying a homosexual man, but then it's like he co-wrote it. Like you said, I don't know. I would anticipate, and imagine the people who fucking made the sets and the workers.
But what I'm confused about, and a lot of people were questioning this too, and I didn't do my due diligence. I don't know, but why can't they just recast this role? Why do they have to hang up this production?
Because the film financiers said that the money for the movie was intended, like only if Joaquin Phoenix is in that lead role.
Oh, like they won't finance.
Like
this
that's what
movie
the
with-
financing was based on, him being the star lead.
So he's kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out of money because of him.
The issue is like we don't know enough details. Like we don't know, maybe there was like a family death. You know what I mean? Or like a real
Right,
like an
we
illness
don't
or something.
I'm sure
on the
cold
surface-
feet is not the extent of why he left the.
Yeah, you. I mean, you'd hope so. because
Especially if
not,
you wrote
like,
the movie, like none of this should have been a
Right.
surprise.
if it is cold feet over a role, then he's like a
Crazy.
piece of shit. Like,
then
for
that's
doing
insane.
that. Like,
But
you'd
all
think
right,
it's more, maybe.
Yeah. Last bit of news: Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are in talks to star in Christopher. I apologize if I mispronounced this. Christopher Borgle's The Drama for A24. The film follows a romance that takes an unexpected turn before a couple's big day. not even like this movie related, but damn, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson in a romance. Then you got Florence Pugh, Andrew Garfield in a romance. Who else? Oh my God, Jennifer Lawrence and someone else. News came out about a romance. I promise you, I'm not making this up. Hold on.
Andrew Bartlett Stein or whatever.
Was it
in the future? I remember talking about it on the podcast, but I can't remember who it was.
What was that Jennifer Lawrence comedy again that came out like last year?
No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings.
That's what I was saying.
Jennifer
Lawrence
is set. What is this? When was this? Jennifer Lawrence to star in Why Don't You Love Me for A24, an adaptation of the Paul B. Rainey graphic novel. But who is
when was this? I do.
I shit you not. I saw it was Jennifer Lawrence and another big name. I promise. Maybe I am pulling this out of my ass, but I swear to God, I remember reading this somewhere.
Are you talking about Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence to star in Die My Love?
Oh, maybe. Was it Robert Pattinson?
He's producing. I don't know. I don't remember.
That might be it. That might be it.
July 22nd, 2024. I don't remember talking this.
Then that might be it. Then that's crazy. Pattinson's working with Zendaya and then Jennifer Lawrence. Wow. My man's working.
That is your man as well, George. That's your friend, isn't it?
That's my boy.
You should text him.
I should learn Wish. Like, hey, you need a Robin for Batman too? Like, I could step in. No problem.
You need a depressed Robin? I'm in. I'm gonna play that easy. Give me that shit.
Easily play that. Are you kidding me?
Let me lock in, man.
But all right, we'll wrap up Real Talk episode 101 there. That was a nice packed episode. A lot of good stuff. A lot of quick movie reviews, and then a nice long conversation about House of the Dragon. If you've watched House of the Dragon, let us know in the comments. What are your thoughts? Are you guys loving this season? Are you House of the Dragon season 3 in or out?
There's a better way.
Are you House of the Dragon or Drag Out for season 3, as Tyler would coin together? But all right, again, shout out Stefan Johnson, Stefan Niebrick, our executive producer. Shout out all of our patrons. You guys keep us going, as we always say. That's not.
The shot we were talking about earlier in Game of Thrones literally just appeared on my Twitter feed. So again, I don't feel bad, Seth.
Which one?
You should.
Just don't worry about it. Just
don't say which one. We'll continue this conversation.
Yeah. All right, no, let's stop spoiling.
Which one? Oh, the one where she just did that thing? Oh yeah. That one.
Looking ahead, this Thursday we'll be dropping a draft of film composers. I'm going to change this rule right now to film and TV composers. And then Friday, we are going to be dropping a patron-only review of Martin Scorsese's Silence. Seth's been championing that one for a very long time, so I'm personally very excited to have a conversation with him about that. And then next week, Real Talk episode 102. I apologize. That will be our big Alien special. We'll run through the entire franchise. We'll talk about Alien Romulus, obviously, but we'll do a deep dive on Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, Prometheus, Covenant, and Romulus as well. As Tyler opened this episode, next week, again, if there's no episode on Monday, it will drop on Tuesday, but Seth and I will do our best. I'm sure Tyler will put together a lovely training course for us on how to do that. But we will see everyone on Thursday for a draft of the best film and TV composers. Peace.
Peace.